Okay, and we are so live, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome to another edition of Music Maniacs with yours truly, Dr. Earl, along with Devious Dave Rose and YR. We're going to get Prince Idol on the call. Sadly, Paul 3 is unable to make it for this evening. He's got band practice and other duties to take care of. So, we got lots to talk about. YR recently visited the Dallas Guitar Festival, I guess, that went on over the past weekend. And of course, we got news referring to David Lee Roth's upcoming tour, as well as the return of the Joe Perry project. Now, YR, have you been familiar with the Joe Perry project as of late? YR? Oh, he's muted. Why are you ready? YR, unmute yourself, dude. Jeez, man. YR? Are you?
What's going on, YR?
I don't know. I was going to ask about the Dallas Guitar Festival that he checked out over the weekend, and we also wanted to get more. There you are. There you are. I can't hear you, YR. You got to unmute yourself. What the hell is going on here, man? YR, unmute yourself, dude. Say something, man. Well, I guess it's you and I for right now, Dave. I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
I know.
so.
Well, in the meantime, we could talk about David Lee Roth's performance at the M3 Rock Festival, which also took place
Hello,
this. There you are.
hello.
Hello. We could
I
hear
wasn't
you.
even muted. Brown, it's you screwing around with that. You're
No, it's
muting
not.
me, or you're
No,
lowering
I
the
never
volume or
muted.
something.
I lowered your
All right. Well,
volume
can you
No,
hear
because
I
me?
was.
Can you hear
I
me?
I
can
Can
hear
wasn't
you hear
you.
hearing
me?
you
Yes.
either. I wasn't hearing you either.
So to respond, you weren't hearing me, Dave.
No.
Damn.
We didn't
All
hear
right, we
you
got it
either.
now. I think I faked.
All
All
right, good.
right. So can everyone hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, dude.
Obviously,
Uh, okay.
obviously.
So within 1 week, there's so much news, Dave, Ed Brown. There's so much good. I don't even know what the topic is tonight, Dr. Brown. What is it?
Well, I know Dave
What you?
suggested something about when bands should retire because people
That's
saying
pretty
that
You
good.
can
they
Yeah.
say, you know
yeah
what? I want you to save that
for later.
for when Paul's around,
Mhm.
because then YR can, because they were having a spicy conversation on the Music Maniacs Discord, and that is, I believe, available for others to join. Um, so yeah, you can discuss that there, but it would be great to hear them both discuss, um, who should be retiring, who shouldn't. YR obviously was quite enamored with the recent ACDC uh, concert that he went to, and there's points to that too, because you got to see a band that was legendary.
Mhm.
But Paul disagreed with that. So that's the debate that I want to hear on Music Maniacs.
Mhm.
But
And there
I would
is
say save it maybe for another episode when he's here, and you guys have other topics to discuss.
I know.
Well,
Like what?
yes, Dave, the conspiracy is tonight ACDC is playing where Paul 3 is. So the conspiracy is Paul 3 ditched the show to go see the ACDC show, and he's not going to say anything. But because that's I don't know.
Is he going to be
That's a
booing
huge.
them?
He's
Is it
gonna
going to be footage of him fighting people in the
what is
audience because
hate
he's like trying
watching.
to tell them they suck?
Dave,
Like
he's gonna be hate watching.
local,
He's gonna be
yeah, hate watching and pay
Oh
the
yeah.
ticket for it. And then
nah.
the news is local man arrested for starting riot at
Yeah.
local ACDC concert.
I know.
No, but honestly, I mean, there is a lot of news. Like, first of all, like, Brian, did you see the video that I put together with the Hagar and Wolfgang songs? Did you
Yes,
see
I
that?
did. Yes, they have the same, somewhat the same
Isn't that weird?
introduction. Very weird. It's like
This is not. This is not being talked about anywhere. I mean, obviously, like anyone can. I mean, it's not really that hard to do tapping on the guitar and a lot of that stuff. Maybe a certain chug or certain riffs. It's like wrestling and movies. Like every idea has pretty much been done
yes,
in
and
a certain way. Kind of. So you could look at it like, oh, it's just a couple guys doing finger tapping, but nah, like people has been saying, I can't really provide a video of it, but like I heard through the grapevine in the music community that someone, I don't know the certain terms, but like some sound person or audio person,
sound
ran both of those intros together.
engineer or
Right.
producer.
Something, right. Something like that, Brown.
Yeah, and for those who
They
may be,
did this. Oh my God. Let me finish real quick. Let me finish. I'm gonna finish the story. So, anyways, like this person put those songs together, like the intros, and put it into some type of maybe music producing system. I don't know what it's called, Pro Tools, something that made it. The certain beats per minute, the certain blah blah blah. It was all exactly like aligned. It was eerie, weird, like not in a bad way, but just like Eddie Van Halen, like I'm not saying he's like the Holy Ghost and like a spirit, but he's like living through these people. I don't know. It's interesting, but definitely that
I
the
actually
end
did hear
song.
that comparison between the two different riffs, and that was very interesting because, from what I gather, neither is influenced by the other. They weren't in interaction between themselves, so they came up with the same riff, like at the same time. That really can't be denied. So it does certainly make you question what's going on there. So that's a really good point, YR.
yes,
You would think the perfect world, like your Wolfgangs would do Van Halen songs, which he never does. Like he'll he'll tip the edge a little bit. Might do like a little thing
Yeah,
at
but
a award
YR,
show, but
the
nothing.
point that you made was that it's not coincidence, because I don't believe in
Yeah.
that. And again, two different riffs, two different people, not connected, not interacting. How did that happen?
Brown, what do you think on this?
well, let me begin by letting everybody know what's going on here. As you know, Sammy Hagar has released a new song titled Encore, Thank You, Good Night, which is his tribute to his one-time collaborator, the late great Eddie Van Halen, and Wolfgang Van Halen with his band Mammoth WVH has a song, I forgot the title of it, and they had the same similar introduction. Finger tapping on the guitar, almost the exact same way. And Wire brought this up, and it's like, wow, interesting, way more than interesting. And so we figure we make this on the subject of this program here. In fact, nobody has
What?
talked about it until now, and we see YR with his Mammoth guitar pick, which is nice. Is it a heavy, light, medium by chance?
It's like it's pretty thick, but
Mm,
there's still some flex to it, and it's a USA.
Did you
nice.
get
But
that
this
in
was actually stage used by Eddie Van Halen's son, the Wolfgang.
All right.
No, but
I wouldn't sell it. But yeah,
did you actually go to one of their shows?
yes, they
Nice.
opened for Creed. Like this was like November. It was Mammoth, Wolfgang, and Three Doors Down, which we'll get into. Remind me, Brown,
Oh
Three
yeah,
Doors
Yeah.
Down
big news
news.
on that.
And then, but yeah, I got picks from all of them. I mean, I got a stage used pick. I mean, you talk about the pick of destiny, like the movie.
Mhm.
Eddie Van Halen's son. I mean, no one can really argue that. I mean, he plays every instrument on both albums, and and created all that himself. I mean, that's genius. But and I know
I was going to
today
ask,
Dave tips
can
his cap to genius. You know what I mean? He appreciates that, Dave.
can Dr. Earl play the two riffs just so that people can
Yeah, can you
hear?
play that video, Brown? Or
Yeah, exactly.
I
Why
did
are
play
the
the
job?
video, and yes, it is a very
Oh, you
good
did?
song. Very damn
I
good
didn't.
song.
I didn't see that. Sorry.
Dr. Brown on the show? Can you play it right now or no?
Not right now. I got to listen to it again because it's been a while since I played guitar. I got to get back to doing that once again.
Well, no, I'm saying, can you
No,
play the video on the show for the
that's
fans?
that's
Let
what
me
we're
see.
talking about.
Oh, okay, my bad. I
Okay,
was
so what we're
trying. I'm
talking
trying to
about
get.
is that
My apologies. I'm trying to add Prince to the call if he is available, but
okay,
unfortunately at
but
the moment.
he's okay. Well, he knows that we're doing the show, but if you could again add that video that YR made, where it shows the the two intros,
Okay.
and we can let the audience decide for
Mhm.
themselves
Okay.
what they think.
And the
Okay.
song is called "The End" by Mammoth. It's a really they came out with a really cool music video too. I mean, it has Machete, the actor that played the movie Machete. Was
Danny
that whole
Trejo,
Yes.
Yeah, he's in there. It's pretty damn cool
he was
video.
great in fucking Desperado.
Mm-hmm.
Great
All
movie.
right there.
He does not support Donald Trump with the immigration.
I'm trying to find it right now. So give it a while here. Let's see.
All right, so to continue on that now, people out there, you would think, if you're like Eddie Van Halen's son or a big famous rock person, you're gonna, if they ever died, the father or the mother, whoever the big icon was, they're gonna go out and do. I mean, the easy thing is tour and play their stuff, kind of like what Jacob Noel's son, the singer from Sublime, is doing right now. That is pretty cool. I do find that pretty cool. He actually joined the band, but like he doesn't. Wolfgang, he does his own thing, bro. He does. I mean, he'll the occasional, award show, or I mean, it's really like, maybe even this Black Sabbath thing coming up. He'll hit Eruption for 30 seconds, or but. And like he did for the Foo Fighters drummer that passed, he played a couple Van Halen songs.
Yeah, it's
They're
true
not,
there.
but nothing live. Like when I saw him, I mean, he even opened for the Metallica thing, so I saw him twice within the
Oh
last few
yeah,
years,
that's right. You did
and
see Metallica live.
they didn't, they don't. Mammoth is Wolfgang's baby, and that's his thing, and they don't play any Van Halen stuff live. There's no licks. Now he does play the EVH amps and guitars, of course. He does play this bigger body. Uh, Brown, like almost like a Gibson, Berlin, almost
Yes.
like a
Yes.
bigger body, like Dave, like BB King's guitar, that big old Lucille,
Yeah.
a bigger body.
Lucille, yes. Gibson E5, I think it's
Okay.
called, if I'm correct.
So
Yeah,
are we? I'm just wondering, are we going to get the footage
I'm
of
looking for it. Where is it at? Is it in the show ideas, music news, concert footage,
all right,
link? Yeah.
let
me see here.
because then we've got to move on to the show that YR recently went to, which I would also like to see the footage again and such. The guitar show that you went to.
Yeah, that's what to get to as well. Oh man, I wish I would
Yeah,
have been there as with you, man.
Oh, Brown, you would have came on yourself. Nice.
Oh man.
So I'm gonna put it
I'll
in the
be
concert footage bin here.
okay,
The
good.
link to that. And then I'm
Got
also going to put
right
a little
here. I'm playing
tour.
it
I'm going to
right
put the
now.
video of the festival in there as well right now, guys.
Okay.
A little piece of it.
All right.
So in concert footage, you've got the two song intros.
Stuff right here, guys. Two songs released literally like within the same week, same intro lick. This is fucking crazy, guys. Two artists connected by Eddie Van Halen, his son Wolfgang, and Sammy Hagar. Both released a song, and the intro for both songs sound the same. Wolfgang Van Halen does his own thing with his band Mammoth. Sammy just released this song as a tribute to Eddie. Joe Satriani plays the opening intro lick on Sammy's song, and Wolf plays the lick on his song. Eddie Van Halen's spirit lives on through these guys in an eerie, spiritual way, and this is as spiritual as it can get. Openly in public, no Sammy and Wolfgang don't hang out, they don't collab on music, it's nothing like that. There is a mutual with respect, but both of those guys do their own thing, which makes this more eerie yet spiritual. Check it out. Here's a piece of both songs. Tell me what you think, bro.
Oh yeah, sounds great. This is the new Sammy Hagar song dedicated to Eddie Van Halen. Sounds pretty fucking damn close, bro.
Yeah, very
You
close
know?
indeed. Yes.
That's like something. I mean, look, there's obviously rappers that'll take the beat of a rock song and blah blah blah. But this is like, there's got to be other words to it, but you know, spiritual guidance. There's not epiphany, but just serendipity. I don't know whatever that is, but whatever.
All right. All right. So to get the
Synchronicity,
that's
perhaps.
perfect, man.
Yeah,
It's certainly
This
not
is
coincidence.
I mean, which is it now? If they were to get together on the same stage during this Sabbath show coming up, it'll be interesting if both Wolfgang and Joe do that introduction together. Do you think it'll be interesting as well?
well, real quick to get out of the way. And you know, this band really started in 1996, but they really got popular in like the 2000s. Three Doors Down, which
Yes.
I wasn't really, ton of hits on the radio throughout the years. But live, I mean, I never really knew how much of a Christian, I don't want to say Christian band, but they do take a moment, talk about the Lord, blah blah blah. Very touching moment. I mean, they opened for Creed, saw them as well, got the pick. But that singer, forget his name, Brad something,
Brad Arnold, I think it's called.
announced stage 4. Brad Arnold, yeah, Brad Arnold,
Stage 4 cancer.
kidney cancer.
Yeah.
Okay, and they canceled the rest of their 2025 dates.
Which is sad because,
just-
you know, which is beyond sad because, you know what,
the rest of their 2025 tour. And usually people that, I mean, he really doesn't look too good either, to be honest with you. He looks real skinny. But when I saw him in November, it was like great. You know what I mean? Like just like 4 or 5 hits you definitely heard on the radio. And you know, they got the American flag. They take an American flag on a stand and they put it out right on front of the stage, right there on the side. Nice. Definitely, you know, MAGA guy, you can tell, and takes a moment, talks about, you know, he used to be like a big alcoholic and you know, went into, you know, got saved, blah blah blah, and Jesus and stuff, and talks about all that. So very sad, man. I mean, that was a major band in the 2000s. A lot of radio play, a lot of play,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, on these award shows.
Everywhere.
You know, obviously, I mean, I'm not saying he's dead or nothing, but like that's pretty much. I mean, Dave, being the smart person you are, like stage 4 kidney cancer. That's not. I mean, it's kind of pretty much you're done, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you could extend your life, but there's really nothing that's going to be able to permanently solve that. So you're going to have to deal
I know. And there's
with
and
something.
yeah, like
Eventually,
that's no
something's
more. I
going to fail.
mean, you know,
what's kind of fun, sad is that, you know, Three Doors Down,
like
Dave was
you
huge
know, you
on
go
the
read.
rock.
You know, there's this song called "Brown
Can't hear you.
of the Sun" or something like that, and
I know.
a lot of comments I read on that. So, a lot of comments on that song and other songs, like you know, people really. Hello,
I hear you.
hello.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, man.
Yeah, you're interrupting.
I didn't
I'm
say
trying to have a
anything.
touching moment here. So what I was trying to say is a lot of people that like contemplated suicide listened to Three Doors Down and it got them through, and particularly that one song "Away from the Sun" or whatever it's called. Is what I was trying to say. So I mean, the band means a lot to a lot of people out there. You know, they're not just some cheesy one song band. There's a lot of hits on that Brown. So big ups, Dr. Brown, man. What do you think about Three Doors Down?
Well,
Hello,
I remember their
Brown. You're
song.
having
I think
audio
there's
issues.
some lag going on. There's some comments in the chat that the show's lagging, so maybe
I
That's why
know. I
Dr.
don't
Earl
know
can't
why
hear
it's
you.
doing this, man. I don't know why.
Yeah, Brian, you like interrupt me, and I'm trying to go and talk about,
My apologies for
what do you
that.
think about Three Doors Down? You were ever into them or no?
Not that much, to be honest with you. I know it started with Kryptonite back in 2000. That was a big hit on the radio and on the old MTV. I
Yeah.
know when I was living in Richmond, Michigan in the early 2000s, their songs were all over rock radio stations like I'm Here Without You. Also, that other song I forgot the title of, unfortunately. There were other songs. I remember
Not my
seeing it,
time.
not my time. In fact, I remember
There's
there
quite a
was.
few, and they're live. They're live, Brian. It's a little maybe softer from our taste, but they're 100% live when they're on stage, man. You know,
Yes. In fact, I remember in the nearby Radio Shack before that franchise closed down, there was a few CDs, Three Doors Down live that was available for sale at the Radio Shack. I think it was through Radio Shack that you had to buy those CDs, I guess. Somebody comes on with the purchase or something added on to it. I'm not too specific, but it's sad, that anybody gets cancer altogether because the big evil C, as I call it, is it's taken so many people's lives, ranging from Frank Zappa, Alan Rickman, David Bowie, Lemmy Kilmister, John Wayne, everybody. I mean, and unfortunately, I
there's
know
some
that
technical
kind of,
difficulties going on in Dr. Brown's area.
I don't know why it's
Yeah, you're
doing
going in
this.
and out, Dr. Earl.
I don't know why it's doing that. Oh gosh. Well,
Gets on the show, but
okay. I know I got to get me a new computer or something like that. I'm
this
not
is a good
sure what
one.
it is, but either way, Three Doors Down, wishing their singer the
This
very
is a
best.
Three Doors Down. This is a stage used pick for Three Doors Down.
Mm.
Really, this is
All
one of the
right.
coolest picks I've gotten. It's like a Superman logo.
I see. Nice. I see there.
It's a good one, man.
I see there. Nice. I like that. Most interesting. It's kind of funny is that it really isn't really funny. It's just sad that another guy in the world of rock and roll has got struck by the big evil C. So let's all of us here watching our show and all of us within the show send our prayers and well wishes to the singer from Three Doors Down. Hope he recovers from this without any issues, and may Three Doors Down continue as well as a good, thriving band that's still functioning out there. All right, so the Dallas Guitar
Um,
Show.
yeah. So like, there's Nam, California, and that's
Mhm.
like the ones that have like, the actual brands come out, Gibson, Fender, they have booths and showing all the new stuff. This was like collectors. This was
Mhm.
mom people came in from Boston, everything.
All right. Like I said, I wish I could have been there, but unfortunately, I had to work my job here in Florida.
And that vintage market, much. It's a good market. It'll always live because that stuff doesn't lose its value, but it's very pricey, man. I mean, you can go in there with you can listen. You can go in there. Not the best, but it's a damn good. It's a heavy. It's a solid. It's a good guitar. The made in Mexico Fender Stratocasters. When you get into the Squire crap, that's all crap. But you can go in that place, and I'm telling you, you go in there with $300 and get a fucking Fender MIM Strat, bro. You can wheel and deal. You can go in there and bring in $2,000. You can get a damn good vintage.
Mm.
I wouldn't
Oh,
say Les Paul because those get. I mean, I saw shit from like the '50s. Bro. I saw the first. Um, Geez, there's just so much, bro. I saw the first Floyd Rose.
Mm.
It was on a Schecter guitar, and it had 2 quarters. You know how the early ones, it's just the 1 quarter. There's 2 quarters holding up. It's like the first generation, and the fourth generation is the one that everyone everyone has and blah blah. This was the first generation Floyd Rose. Really didn't look too much like the fourth generation. I mean, it's pretty standard, but you could tell it had the screw ends there, like the screws to lock it down. But 2 quarters, man. But there was stuff, just I want to drag on all day about it, but I mean everything you can imagine. Everything. I mean, there's basses, plenty of basses. There was independent amp companies, like brands you never heard of, a few of those, but like just major big amps, guitar amps. There's 1950s $30,000 Les Pauls, a lot of yellow, brown, like the shade of yellow and gold, and
Nice.
on those guitars. A lot of black ones, obviously. A couple dime guitars, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
$2,000 for
Wow.
like really $399. It was there $4,000. Dime bag Daryl Dean guitars. There was Strats out the Fender Stratocasters. There was a $5,000 John 5 white Stratocaster, yes, signature,
Nice. All
with the
right.
red push button start toggle switch. Very nice. I mean, all of that, man, and all of that. It's just so pricey, dude. I mean, you can wheel and deal and try to whatever, but thousands of dollars, man. Less, I mean, everything. It was really overwhelming. And more of the bluesy. I mean, George Lynch goes there and perform. I mean, they have performers and stuff. I sent a couple pictures, a couple
Mhm.
people viral that they call him Stevie Ray Vaughan's son, but he's like autistic, and
Oh.
he's like 16 from the United Kingdom, that area.
Mm.
And, he's this autistic guy, but he plays the blues just like SRV. I mean, I saw that dude walking around. This dude was like 9 foot tall, like you, Brown.
Mm.
But he's openly, like it's a thing, like all of that stuff, autistic community, blah blah blah. And he found his way with the guitar or whatever. And but he was there walking around, like all these viral kind of weird people that then it's the more the bluesy rock community, but very overwhelming, man. Just so much, just absolutely so much, man. And I did get a strap,
Nice.
chicken and waffle strap. I also got this gift. I don't know if it's on the screen. Got the Randy Rhoads Jackson Brown
Yeah,
in the collection.
I saw that. You showed it
The
in
Randy
the
Rhoads
chat here.
Jackson.
Nice. Way nice.
Isn't that nice?
It is more than nice, I will say. You know what? If I
The
would
Randy
have been
Rhoads.
there, I would have.
That's a hard guitar to play.
Wow. You know what? Interesting. I'd be looking to check out the vintage guitars that the old TS goes. Because remember, my first electric guitar was a
Bro, they
TS
had
go.
so many Tescos. They had Silvertones, Tescos. They had guitars with um, like like switches, like stuff that's not on guitars now. Like you have the knobs on guitars, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
have these I don't know, these black little switches you switch over. I think it was Tesco's. It's weird looking. But they had everything. I mean, a million acoustics. I mean, it's just you gotta wheel and deal and talk to these booths and these
You know what? I'm hoping that sometime soon they'll have a guitar festival or
ESP
here.
George Lynch signature and had no serial numbers. It was a prototype model. Right.
All right. Definitely got to check it out sometime. You know what? Me and my sister and my nephew, we spoke about attending, going back to Texas for the Texas Renaissance Festival later on this fall. And hopefully we'll be able to stay a couple days more if they have another festival
In and
this
out.
time
No,
near
they don't
the.
have Renaissance
Go.
festivals in Florida.
Well, we went to one earlier this year
What
called
is the
the.
one of the most
Earl, your
famous ones?
connection is cutting out there.
I don't know
We're
why
not.
it's doing
We're
this.
only
I don't know why it's doing that.
Earl,
hearing
you need
bits
to
and
get
pieces of what you're saying.
Cyberlink
Starlink.
from X.
Starlink. That'll have a good.
I don't know why it's
Neither
doing
do we,
this.
but you keep cutting out where we can't even hear some of what you're saying.
Oh, a couple of, you know what's same thing
So
with
he's saying
YR.
that basically.
It's your connection though,
Well,
because
no,
I
it's
keep
you
hearing
because
YR
you're on.
straight. It's working fine for me.
We got to talk
His
off air to
Renaissance
find out
Festival
what.
is like the best.
It's funny that you guys mentioned Renaissance Festival because today I learned that there's one a few hours away from me in the end of June. I was like, I haven't been to a Renaissance Festival in fucking decades. I think maybe I'll check this one out.
Yeah,
So
definitely do so. Yeah, you
you
won't be
got Justin.
disappointed.
No, I've been to Renaissance festivals before and such. But again, it's been decades since I last went to one. And I think it'd be kind of cool.
All right,
You
definitely do
dress up? Would
so.
you dress up and all that?
No, I'm not dressing up.
I can imagine you like a Robin Hood or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Dave
I
Rose
could.
Robin
Well,
Hood.
if I had the costume and maybe an interest in dressing up, I would. But like, I don't have anything to dress up in.
Brown, Dr. Brown, you'd be going as like the underlord, right? Like you take the people to get their heads cut off at the chambers.
The
Oh, you mean
executioner.
the
Executioner.
the
Yeah,
executioner
the executioner.
with the leather mask and the
Oh,
big
God.
axe.
Yeah.
The big black hood that he
I
wears
would
on
be
his
the
head.
aristocrat, and I'd be going around with silk robes and saying, "I pity you, little people." Yeah.
Now back to the music. I mean,
Yeah.
this really is going to be a Van Halen based show because this David Lee Roth thing, man.
Well, was it you that posted the songs that were on the playlist for the show? Because a lot of them were Van Halen,
Yeah.
but there were some covers that I did see. But either way, like if you look at the way this guy operates, and then say take a look at Brian Johnson of AC/DC, and again, this hopefully is a preview of the show that YR and Paul can talk about this. But like, there's a big contrast between the two, and the fact that David Lee Roth is the age that he is, the way that he looks, and the way that he can perform, that's impressive. And anyone who's going to be like, it's not going to be like what you've seen with the was it Valley, what's his name,
Frankie Valley.
Frankie Valley, yeah, like who right now is just like a zombie, and he's just being paraded out there because of his mob debts. And he's not even performing. You've got actually Diamond Dave, who just somehow can keep it up. It's fucking insane, actually.
Well, Dr. Brown, do you have the set list on hand for that show?
Let me look.
Because
let me find it. It's in the music
so
news.
yeah, it should be in the music news. So it's like to backdrop on it, they have this big music festival, M3, and like they have huge, they have all the names. I mean, I don't want to say like Metallica and stuff, but it is like a lot of 80s bands.
Yeah, I got it right
It's a
here.
lot.
Yes.
Winger, Trickster, nothing like Motley Crue or Poison, Def Leppard, nothing like that. But like your opening bands, your bands in the 80s and never really, your Rats. Your Rats with DeMartini, which is still a treat. But this David Lee Roth thing.
Oh, you mean when rock was actually good? Yes, I do
Yes.
remember those days because I lived them and they were great.
Now I do have to say he is wearing like some type. It was, I don't want to say it's a hairpiece, but he definitely got this hairline and everything fixed up for sure.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
just like let them fucking.
It's nice though that he looks good.
Want.
He looks good. No, he really looks good, and
of course, but
he
yeah,
was never.
I remember when this guy was losing his hair bad, real bad, and he was still performing with the wispy hair and stuff. And obviously now he did something to it. It's just like if you were in that position, would you? Probably. So it's just like
David Lee Roth is the most. Brown. He was never known for like his vocals.
I don't care about his hair. I care about his singing. And from that alone, it's just like, who cares about his hair? Because this guy can still belt it out.
He does.
He does look good.
If anyone hasn't checked out that footage, and I do recommend, in a situation like this, guys, just a little pro advice. Put out the link of, say, for example, what I'm talking about, this guy's performance. in your chat so people can actually see what this guy is doing at his age. It's fucking incredible. It's fucking incredible how well this guy has held up, how his health is, held up, and how well he can still perform
Yes.
compared to the other fucking footage that you've seen of, say, Brian Scott, who he's hurting just to make a line or two. So
Well, he did. So that happened. He did a lot of deep tracks on that. I'm the One, Atomic Punk. What
yeah,
what else was on
yep,
there? I mean,
there
there
were
was.
some
Let's
tracks
see.
that
We also have Jamie's Crying and The Crater Will Rock, which, by the way, I think I remember mentioning it was Eddie playing a keyboard played through a Marshall amp on the original track. Also, Mean Street from Fair Warning, and of course, Dance the Night Away, which was a big hit on the radio around 1979 from the
Oh,
second
Romeo's
album.
Delight, bro.
From the third
Romeo's
album.
Delight.
Yeah, that's a badass of a song. And one thing I
does
noticed
he have
about the
I Can't Drive 55?
no, oh, no, I don't think that's gonna happen. He never
Oh,
did.
that would be great
That's
to hear.
That's
that's my
Sammy.
favorite.
That's Sammy.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Van Halen album, or the David Lee Roth era is the
Women,
third album, Women and Children First.
you're
It's the
badass of
best
a
one.
record. Yes. And don't forget the song "Fools" from that album just as well. In fact, one
Yeah.
ballad they
Oh
have
my
on
God.
called "Don't." Let's not forget one song they had Nicolette Larson doing backup vocals called "Could This Be Magic?"
And
And
don't
that was
forget
Yeah.
YR's theme song, He's Just a Gigolo.
Well, no,
yeah.
they played Drop Dead Legs,
hmm
which is off. Which is what is that the second song on the first album?
No, that's from the album 1984, and that was the
Oh,
fifth
you're right.
and
Way off.
closing track off of side one.
What is
Why you
the
tune in, people? Because Dr. Earl and YR fucking know what tracks these are. Not
Mhm.
so much YR at this moment, but Dr. Earl,
yeah?
certainly.
Yeah, because I had cassettes on a lot of them, the early Van Halen records. I remember the
Did you
first
ever have
album.
any 8 tracks?
The only 8 tracks I ever had was a pre-recorded. It was like a blank cartridge of Black Sabbath, Sabotage on 8 track, Technical Ecstasy by Black Sabbath, Overnight Sensation by the Mothers of
You can put all of
Invention.
that.
I
They
had
can hold all that memory on there.
Yes, I hold all that memory, yes. And that was pretty much about it.
Well,
Still?
they did after this show, after this M3 festival, they did announce a David Lee Roth tour.
hmm
Okay,
Are you
limited
going?
tour.
Are you
Now they're
going?
not coming to they're not coming to Texas, but they are going to Oklahoma, the
Are you gonna
casinos.
are you gonna go there?
I'm gonna try to hit. I'm trying to go to that, and
All right.
it's gonna be a good one. Because
I'll
look,
hook you
they
up with
have
Casey's Raw.
it's all live. It's all live. It's funny. They have four
Four
backup
backup
singers for
vocals.
Michael Anthony's parts.
I
It
know
takes four guys. At least
Hold
it's
on.
live though.
that's a funny
Both of
thing
you
that
are
got
cutting.
me.
Hold on, both of you guys are cutting out. They've got 4 what?
4 backup singers, all male, to take the place of
Oh,
one guy.
oh my God.
Now, a few years ago, David Lee Roth was opening up for Kiss on their world tour 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. A few years ago, and it wasn't live backup singers. He was running tracks. So it was literally like the Michael Anthony Eddie backing tracks from the
Well,
records.
if YR can go all over the place, then so will I. Gentlemen, I must know, who is the better singer of Van Halen? David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar? Or Gary
Sharon.
is it
Sharon.
Gary Sharon that Geddy Lee mentioned in the chat saying he was the best singer of Van Halen. So, gentlemen,
I
because
would
you
ha-
guys no.
I would
hmm
have to
Good.
say, I mean, the first four albums, the first 4 Van Halen albums are unmatched. The
Mhm.
first 4, so I would have to say that. But the better singer is Sammy Hagar. Okay, and I do have to
But
say, that the album Balance, very underrated, is pretty damn good for the '90s vibe of Van Halen. Album Balance,
Now,
folks. But
hold
yes,
on. So the thing is, though, singer is one thing, but what about performer, right? So, like you're saying that Sammy Hagar is the better singer, but we know that Diamond can sing, but also look at the way he performed, jumping off the fucking stage and shit, doing the fucking air splits.
Yep.
At that point, like it was something that gravitated people towards Van Halen because you were seeing some high energy stuff. So I ask you to clarify, YR. Um, okay, so Sammy Hagar, best singer for Van Halen. What about performer?
with David Lee Roth, but
Okay. No,
you
that's
could argue
perfect.
like
Again, that gives a great distinction between because again, Van Halen, um, I feel that they've kept their synergy the same throughout most of their career. Meanwhile, Pink Floyd, you can see a clear distinction from when Roger Waters was running things as opposed to David Gilmour. Right, so big distinction. Meanwhile, Van Halen continues probably because it's Eddie who's fucking running shit. But the singer actually just it makes it so unique, even in its own sense. I love Van Halen regardless, whoever is fucking singing, except for fucking Gary Sharon. Fuck you. But no, but seriously, like again, it's so enjoyable. Van Halen's so enjoyable, regardless of the singer, but each singer brings so much, but so differently than the other one.
Dave has a point.
thank you. I
And
do
Dave,
agree.
indeed has a point because when Sammy joined the group, Van Halen morphed into this unique new identity, and that identity definitely shined out through the later half of the '80s and throughout the '90s as well. And funny thing is because David Lee Roth at that time throughout the '90s was having issues trying to sell records, let alone do concert tours. In fact, the only notoriety he got in the press was getting busted for trying to purchase weed from an undercover officer, and that was before their appearance on the MTV Video Music Awards in '96. So David Lee Roth, in a lot of in the past, used to say he was too good for Van Halen, and ended up eating his own words throughout the 1990s.
I mean, look, definitely, and I know Dave, you appreciate Dave, Diamond Dave, but there's when you see like a singer that can actually sing and you see him live, there's way more emotion and just more realness than as like a performer, entertainer hopping around. Like,
But that's
when you add that good voice,
this
that's
is
another thing
this
too.
is one of those things where for me it's just like it requires at least 5 hours and a couple of bottles of whiskey to back and forth about this and yeah, performance is one thing, singing's another. I think that's important when you examine what kind of value or how
I think Dave's voice is cutting out.
tequila like his songs are like rocking his like his own songs was it Sammy Hagar and
The
what was that?
Wabos.
Yes, dude, they've got some fucking good music. So it's just like again, they each bring unique things, I think, to Van Halen, and either way, Van Halen just works, regardless of who the singer is, right?
But ultimately, I mean, even Sammy Hagar is still doing. He's at a residency in Vegas as we speak.
Mm.
So he's till this day. I mean, Dave is all over the place. He'll want to do karate one week, and he canceled his retirement thing 2 years ago, and now he's back. So he's always moved to the beat of his own drum.
But you know
But
what?
ultimately, man, yeah,
Awesome. Like, look at how this guy performed recently, and like now to know that he's on tour, it's just like if I could, I would see him. And I mean, I can't blame anyone for wanting to see this guy. Like he is just at his age still performing to this caliber. Like you know, people make fun of you, YR, well, Paul 3 mostly, about going to see old guys performing and stuff. It's like, first of all, you can't take the fucking rocker out of the guy, and second of all, if that's what they want to do, great. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss, like AC/DC. But the fact is, this guy's performing so well. Why would you not want to go see this guy?
And there's only really 3 or 4 bands that can play football stadiums and sell them out. AC/DC, Metallica, Oasis, and if Pink Floyd came back, you can't really think. I mean, no really new bands do that.
The
Maybe a Foo
Who? Well,
Fighters.
we were going to talk about the Who.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because
But we really
the
got out this. Dr. Brown, there's so much news. This Gene Simmons thing, Brown, please. I mean, there's a lot we got to cram in. What do y'all want to get into?
well,
I didn't
this
even know about the Gene Simmons stuff.
I
Let's
know.
get into let's finish off with let's tie up the Gene Simmons thing with a good bow. I don't want to like spin the whole show on it, but there is a lot.
Mhm.
Not a lot. There's just basically he came out, did his, Kiss as a band, retired from live. And they really did a couple years ago, year ago. And Gene Simmons came out and did this, announced a solo band, which he's had here and there, a few years, whatever, and in the past. But not to this level. He might have played a special, but this is like full tour. He did a European tour last year. They announced the US tour. All over, man. Houston, Dallas, everything. House of Blues, really intimate, great venues. But the pricing was too much. Like $250, $300 for a seat.
Wow.
A stand room GA wasn't that bad. You're at like 100, but these days you can go on Ticketmaster and see individual seats and if they're selling or not. You can actually see the actual seats and click on what individual seat you want for whatever event, and you can kind of get an idea what's selling or not yourself nowadays. So that they announced, I don't know really for how long, maybe a month, I don't know, and then they started canceling shows. One morning they canceled all these shows,
Yeah.
and they canceled more than they have that they're
Wow.
doing, and they're doing like maybe 8, maybe
What
like a
city is
limited
this?
run.
Vegas?
Any given
Pardon?
reason?
What? Hold on.
Low
YR,
because
what city? What city
low
would be?
ticket sales, because Gene's
Obviously, we know why.
took them.
YR, what city?
Oh, multiple cities,
Oh, damn.
multiple
I thought it was just like a residency in Vegas.
Nah,
But
this is all around the U.S. I mean, from Paul 3, like from like kind of just. I mean, obviously big cities, but like there was smaller cities too.
Hmm.
And there,
okay, the audience to go touring across America, and you have to cancel a ton of dates. That's a big deal. That means a lot about the interest in their performances live. Also, you've got Paul 3 in the chat.
I see. Yeah, I was going to say, Paul, all right, if
Man, the
you're
showdown of the century. YR
now,
versus Paul 3.
do you have Brown? Do you have the set list for the Gene Simmons show
no, I do
on
not.
you?
No, I
All
do
right, let me
not.
go find it real quick. I'm gonna get it for you.
YR, of course. The seminal Kiss
I'm gonna grab
fan.
that for him.
All right, there.
So Eddie Trunk went and saw him in New Jersey on Sunday. One of the biggest Kiss fans. Eddie Trunk was the first person to put Metallica play their first record on the radio in New Jersey. Okay, major person. And he was a really big fan, guys. Just because of the reasons, and we're about to get into quickly, but in the concert footage, Brown, for you. And where you could see him, you should have gone. People should have gone because it's super limited. And the problem is, you're gonna not a lot of casuals are gonna go to this. Your hardcore Gene fans are going to this. Number one, they don't want. No, I don't want. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a hardcore, but I'm pretty close to it.
Sebastian Bach.
I didn't. What I send you the set list. She's got that, Brown, or in concert footage, brother.
Let me see a check here. Open chat. Because right
So the
now,
prom.
since you mentioned Sebastian Bach, I got to bring this up. Get this. This is from the guitarworld.com, and it's about Rodney Radke talking about Sebastian Bach. He says, check this out. Rodney Radke, the singer from Falling in Reverse, called out Sebastian Bach for claiming not to know the Falling in Reverse singer amid a ongoing feud between the two vocalists. Their ongoing riff originally started in 2022 when Bach, among others, criticized Radke's band for canceling a show over laptops they used for their set went missing. In the music video for the band's track Watch the World Burn, a Bach lookalike can be seen being hit by laptops raining from the sky. In a new fan-led Q&A with Metal Hammer, Bach now says he doesn't know who Ronnie Radke is. He said, quote, "The only way I know that name is from the internet, so they might as well be a Republican politician or reality TV show star or YouTuber," he says. He continues by saying, "Whatever opinion someone has on the internet for me to give a shit, I would have liked to respect their music first, and I've never heard one note of that band. The only reason I know them is they seem to love their computers more than they love their rock and roll." And in response to that, Ranky said, "Sebastian, you know exactly who I am. You talked a lot of crap about me for years. Also, another reason why I know you're lying is because this is Elvis Basquinet, who is their producer. And I know you know who that is because did your newest album. And also, Elvis did Dying is Your Latest Fashion from Escape the Fate, who Ranky used to be involved in. He did 3 or 4 albums of our first albums, and he probably have them hanging over his walls and stuff. And I'm sure my name got brought up a few times since I've known Elvis since I was a teenager." Ranky also adds, "So this pretending like you know I do not know exists is just so phony, just like everything else. That's why nobody likes you. Your band doesn't want you back." Ooh, that hits hard. "They never want you back. You're literally the most insufferable human being of all time with terrible vocals." Bach has not responded to that tirade at the moment. Bach is currently on tour, as well as Falling in Reverse. Well, actually, who are going to be hitting the road this coming August. In fact, Ranky also called out Bach and Eddie Trunk for being pedophile sympathizers because one guitar player named Brett Rhodes, I guess, usually hangs around 14-year-olds, according to Mr. Ranky.
Brent Woods.
Brett Woods.
Brent
Thank you
Woods.
very much.
So
Thank you very much.
The backstory. The backstory. Hello.
Hello. Go ahead, dude. Why are you there, dude? Seems to be a little connection messed up.
All right, so.
Oh, there you are.
The band is called Falling. The band is called Falling from Reverse. And what happened was, this is a pretty good story that I had to send this to Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Like a couple years ago, it was in the summertime at like a festival or something, and Falling from Reverse was there, and they had to cancel their set because someone stole or something happened to their laptops, which their laptops had to do with like their lighting or something. really. But
Mhm.
like what Eddie Trunk came out on the air and what Sebastian Bach is saying is, who the fuck needs a laptop? You go in there and you plug in and play all live. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're a live band or not is kind of in the mixes, but ultimately, if you're using a laptop, something not right. It could be the lighting stuff, but it could be other things, backing tracks. You know, there's bands that don't even have a bass player; they just add a bass. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
I mean, that guy is an idiot, and he's known for like starting stuff and blah blah blah. And I wouldn't, you know, Brent Woods is a respected
Mhm.
player, and I think he's playing in Gene Simmons' band right now. Actually,
Mm.
to be honest with you, I think he's one of the players. But Brown, back to the Gene Simmons. Did you get that set list I sent you, or you put it
I'm
in the
thinking. Where is it
put
at?
it
Let me where is it in the show ideas or the
in the
links?
concert footage in the concert
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 footage.
footage.
Okay, I see it right now, dude. Deuce, Shout Out Loud, Charisma, which is a Kiss cover, Moni Moni, the Tommy James cover, Are You Ready? Song, I Love It Loud, War Machine, House of Pain, Van Halen cover, Parasite, which is a Kiss cover as well, Spit, Whole Lot of Love, Plaster Caster, which is a song that he did with Kiss, Band Intro Jam, which includes sections of
Kind of
Wipeout.
partial. They did like the first verse.
That's right. Ace of Spades, Cold Gin, Bad Reputation, which is a Thin Lizzy cover, And Your Bird Can Sing, which was originally done by the Beatles, Calling Dr. Love, Rock and Roll All Night, and
Like, what the
possibly
fuck is it?
Great Expeditions from Destroyer.
Why can't we hear songs deep? Why can't we have deep tracks like "Love 'Em and Leave 'Em," Dr. Brown? Why can't we have this? I mean, why are you playing? Why are you playing covers of other fucking bands? Number one, so stupid. I hate when bands do that when they have their own shit. I hate when bands do. Some stuff is
Aren't you the guy that goes to tribute bands all the time?
no,
Oh,
no. I'm talking
dude. Oh,
like I'm talking it. Well, no, it's different. It's a difference. Brown, what are you talking? It's a difference. This is Gene Simmons. You want to hear Gene Simmons play Kiss. You don't want to hear Gene Simmons play And Your Bird Can Sing from the Beatles, guys. That's all I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of Pete. Look, Ace of Spades, one of the most overplayed fucking songs, by the way.
that's
You're
true.
playing that. You're
Good point.
doing
Good
and
point,
all the
man.
other Kiss songs.
Is he
Most of
really
these
gonna
Kiss songs
do?
that they're playing.
Is he really gonna do Lemmy justice by singing that song? Is he be like,
Well, he doesn't sing it. That's the thing. All these covers, Gene's not
the
even
Ace of
singing. It's the
Spades?
guitar player singing.
Oh, really?
Maybe so.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's lame. No,
But
it's not. Maybe I watched it myself. I've seen it, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's lame. Gene Simmons is not out there singing Ace of Spades.
No, he's out
Price.
there just trying to make money. Ladies and gentlemen,
He,
boys and girls, the showdown everyone's been waiting for. Paul 3 versus YR. Right here,
Paul
right now.
3,
Here
are
we go.
you secretly at the AC/DC show in Pittsburgh tonight, Paul 3? It's tonight.
He was
Paul,
gonna surprise you.
comment.
Watch you get on video. Watch you get on video from the concert. I would fucking
Yeah,
mark the
we
fuck
keep
out,
seeing
dude.
you go from muted to non-muted, and we still don't hear you.
All right.
So good job there.
And he just
Hey.
left.
Paul 3's gonna.
You gotta
Paul
get
3's
his
gonna show it. Nah, but look, Brown.
Yeah.
Songs like "Love 'Em and Leave 'Em." I mean, what's it? Give us some deep cuts from Kiss
How
that
about
you
some
would like to hear.
How about some deep cuts from his solo records? He had two solo records out. The self-titled, the other members released it, as well as this one called Asshole.
All the Kiss songs they have on there, they already played for 40 years on the Kiss set list.
Yeah, but then
On
again,
their real Kiss set, like it's not no, they're playing Charisma, which is deep or whatever, right? But
okay.
even when they do Plaster Caster, it's the first verse because it says partial. It's partial.
Mhm.
It's not even. It's like just the guitarist fucking around, and Gene. I saw the clip. Gene starts singing Plaster Caster. He's like, "Oh, let's stop. We didn't rehearse it," you know.
Oh,
But there's a lot of
That's terrible.
talking,
That's terrible.
a lot of talking between songs, which I don't mind because like he's an icon or whatever.
I'll tell you at
you
the time.
know,
Well, let me
but
say
there's just
this.
a
Well, let me say this. The ones, I think the reason why it has to be Kiss songs is because, simply the public out there are not really familiar with the deep cuts that Kiss have done throughout the years. They want the Kiss songs that everybody knows by heart, whether it's Cold
no, they
Gin.
don't want that. This is a Gene Simmons solo show. These are the hardcores, Brown. They don't want that. That's the
Well,
point. They don't. They want deep stuff. They want, bro. If
I beg to differ, and I'll give you a perfect example of that. D.D. Ramone for the Ramones. He lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan for a year and a half before moving back to New York. He had a thing called the D.D. Ramone and the Chinese Dragons, which was made up of members of a band I used to know called Liars, Cheats, and Thieves. They did a show at the Ritz in Roseville around 1992, and it was mostly deep stuff that Dee Dee had done here and there, a couple of songs here and there, including Ace of Spades, believe it or not. Yep, way before it got way overplayed. But most of the people kept their distance until Dee Dee got into I Want to
what?
Be Sedated. That's when they started coming to the stage. A few fans did. That's what they remember Dee Dee from.
Well,
The
no,
stint
but
with the
this is a different.
Ramones.
This is. I see what you're saying, but like, yes, a part of the crowd does want it, but I don't know, bro. I feel like you don't want to. I mean, Rock and Roll All Night's on there. You don't like.
I know,
I just
yes.
feel like you want to see, especially with most of the set being the same Kiss songs that they played in their band for 40 years live, bro. The same shit. I mean, they're good songs, Deuce, on that, but
Yes, true.
there's so much Kiss records. There's so much. I mean, even the '80s stuff, like you're talking about, for Christ's sake. There's so
Exactly.
much other songs. Like, I'm a big stickler for the hits too, myself. I
Yeah.
love that. But like, even going back into the AC/DC stuff that I recorded, like
Mhm.
like the deep stuff gets you listening into more of their catalog, and you like it, especially see it live. Sin City. I didn't even know about that song. For Christ's sake, I mean, that is a great
Oh,
song.
oh
Great
man,
song.
I knew about that song for years.
Christ.
Hell, I had the album
But
that
like,
it came out
I don't
on.
know. Maybe it is a preference thing, but if I went and I was planning on going to this show, this Gene Simmons show, before they cancel it, I was gonna pay the 300. I mean, I wasn't gonna pay 300. I was gonna pay a couple hundred. I would have paid that, but I don't mind the talking between songs. People hate that shit. I mean, Eddie Trunk was shitting all over the show, guys. He was shitting like. I mean, he said he didn't even want to. He saw Gene back. Be like, yeah, man, great show. He like, I've seen Kiss 3 times live already, so it's not really like a huge deal, but it is super cool to see him not with the paint in a super small venue, like intimate venue. These House of Blues venues are like you can spit on the stage from anywhere in there. I mean, everything's so close, and that would have been cool. I mean, I don't mind talking between songs, whether it's he's talking about irrelevant stuff or not, but you got to not like leave out. I mean, he didn't even do God of Thunder, which is not really a deep track, but it's like you're gonna do Rock and Roll All Night, but you're not gonna do God of Thunder, a Gene based song. I mean, doing these songs that's been on Kiss live set for the past 40 years is totally unacceptable. That's my thing. Like, yeah, maybe a couple Deuce, whatever, but like letting these guitarists sing these songs, especially the covers, is bullshit. Paul 3, what do you got, man? Are you at the AC/DC show tonight in Pittsburgh, brother?
And go ahead and unmute yourself, Paul. Love to hear from you, dude. I gotta
No,
take a
real
leak. I'll be
great.
back.
Real great.
All right.
Oh,
There you are.
bro, look at it. Get out of here. Nah, you can tell us. You can see the glare off TV.
Yep, I see it
Dipshit.
too. I see it too, man.
Yo. Let me see tickets on that are still selling. Let me see on that, by the way. Paul 3, what do you think about this Gene Simmons thing? You think it's unacceptable he's doing this? I mean, this is. First of all, it's an embarrassment that he canceled most of the tour for low ticket sales because of the pricing. Is the reasoning, but it's still low ticket sales, which is not a thing to be proud of. Okay, very rarely. I mean, this happens on some of these rappers. I don't know if y'all remember that rapper. He was kind of relevant 10 years ago. One of those, kind of popular rappers 10, 15 years ago. Did a
Yeah.
tour and he canceled. Beyonce's ticket sales are low. But very few and far between. I mean, the mark. I'm just talking the ticket sales. I mean, that's there's artists that it does happen to low ticket sales.
You got a bunch of white liberal women like, oh, let's just support her and she sucks.
Let's go to Beyonce. No, I mean the Marley thing was low ticket sales. The point when you get there, they upgrade you. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, back when wrestling wasn't too popular in the early mid '90s, they upgraded you seats when because fill it in. did it with WWE, 10 years ago when it was kind of bad too, whatever. Paul 3's here. How you doing with that?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear,
Yeah,
dude.
finally.
Oh,
Yes.
you can?
Yeah.
Okay, it's working then. I'm doing pretty good, I've been pretty busy today, man. I'm kind of tired. I had my first retirement home gig today, believe it or not. So I played at a retirement home, but it was pretty cool, man. The people were old as fuck, but they appreciated it, and
What
it was
kind
a
of
good
music
game
were you
show.
doing? Like your own stuff, or
No, I did the Monkees. I sang some Frank
Yeah.
Sinatra.
Yeah,
I
Blue-Eyed
sang,
Soul, I'm sure.
yeah, I sang Bobby Darin.
There, yes,
Snap the Knife. Yeah, I did all that stuff. They loved it. I sang some Beatles 8 days a week. Like I said, it paid
I was
really
like, I
well.
should be in that fucking home.
Dude, that
not a
home
bad
was something
gig,
else.
bro. That's not a bad gig, man. It's like number one. You don't have to worry about your stuff getting stolen. You're not going in a weird bar and getting a
That's
fight.
why
Like,
Harris
you know what I
first
mean?
thought, you don't have to worry about
But
your
no,
shit
I
being
mean,
stolen.
when these people get drunk at these shows, it's annoying, man, and it is a liability. You know what I mean? Just drink. But old
Even at the
folks home,
cover shows you go to, those old
Yeah.
fucking boomers get crazy.
Bro, I've more fucking problems there than the real shows, Dave. Be honest with you.
It was kind
Well,
of
they're
like
at
an
bars.
AC/DC
They're at
gig,
bars.
though. It was kind of like an AC/DC gig because it smelled of piss really bad. So luckily we moved it to the outside, but the inside definitely smelled like a nursing home. I gotta say that. There's a lot of piss and shit odor, but yeah, the people appreciated it. I've never done anything like that before, bro. That was like completely out of my element. I just got the opportunity and I said, "Fuck it, I'll do it." And
Did you
hell,
dress in a bow tie and a fucking vest?
fuck no, dude. I wore red pants, a black like overshirt, and a Beatles shirt underneath it, bro. Fuck that.
And did you not try hard not to curse on the mic?
Oh yeah, I didn't swear at all, dude. I was fucking
Hey.
amazing, bro. I played a little bit of blues, instrumental blues guitar, and I kind of explained a little bit. I gave like a history lesson in the intro about the
Nice.
blues. Yeah, it was a whole
Really?
fucking presentation, bro. But it was cool. It was fun.
I like it
different.
actually when artists
is
like
cool.
they're fucking around, with their instruments and they're like explaining to the audience what they're doing before they just go into something. Like I've really enjoyed that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was a different, really intimate kind of. I don't know. I don't want to call it an educational performance, but it was almost like that. But yeah, it was cool.
Like a
So rather
clinic?
than
That's my
lighters, did they
clinic,
hold
yeah.
up their colostomy bags?
I would have fucking loved that, bro. Empty all the colostomy bags all over the floor. Let's get real wild. Let's go. Shit party. Let's go.
We do support the seniors on Music Maniacs. Paul 3, what do you think about this whole? What do you think about the Gene Simmons set list and all this, Paul?
No, you're in the wrong, bro. Actually,
What?
Left.
got me kicked out. Can you hear me?
Loud
Yeah,
and clear.
but-
Yeah, go right ahead.
What?
I like the addition of the Beatle cover, especially if you know anything about that song. That's called Andrew Bergen Sing. That's off Revolver, bro. That's one of the hardest fucking riffs that you can learn from at least before 1975 or 1985. Like that is an insane riff. That's kind of cool, man, that he's taken on that challenge. The Beatles never played that live, so fitting on that is kind of
Yes, to hear that, to
What
hear
about-
a
hold on,
song
what-
like that live, that's cool.
Ace of
But-
That's
Spades.
really
What
cool.
about Ace of Spades though?
I think Ace of Spades is disgusting. I think Gene should be embarrassed that he's having like a guitar player sing that and play that at all. I don't. Did he ever have a connection to Lemmy? Is that even like a thing? It seems really fucking random. I think that's a misstep. You could
The
easily add
House
a
of Pain song, he does have a connection to Van Halen with the House of Pain song.
Yes, he
Yeah, I
does.
don't know, but he has such a big catalog, bro. Gene Simmons has such a huge
That's what I'm
catalog.
saying.
Why wouldn't
He fucking boasts about how big Kiss's catalog is, and you're not gonna. And Brown was trying to argue that like, nah, it's gonna be like casuals at this. Nah, this is where the hardcore's doing this,
Yeah.
bro. Like this
Dude, he's
is some.
playing Charisma. He's playing Charisma, bro. That is a fucking Kiss deep cut if I ever heard one.
You're
Like,
the casuals that are going to be there is going to be like people's sons and daughters. I would say. I would agree
I know
with
the
that,
song.
but-
I know the song. I'm just saying, that is a crazy Kiss deep cut that he's doing. So I mean, he could have easily delved back into his sack and picked out a couple more Gene Simmons songs. That Ace of Spades is gross.
Right.
Now he sounds good and he's entertaining and everything else is great. Like he is. He's what do you feel about him talking for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes between songs?
I don't have a problem
Randomly.
with that necessarily. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. This is probably one of his last hurrahs. How many more years does he have left to go? He's getting damn near 80 years old. So, why not get a little bit of knowledge and hear what he has to say? I don't see a problem with that. When I saw BB King did a lot of talking, bro, a lot of stories and shit. But he was fucking 85 at the time.
And the guy's not fucking trying to create, merchandise from nail clippers. Gene Simmons he'll sell you everything. So of course you go to the show, he's gonna sell you stories between the songs, fine. But like comparing him to BB King, like
I don't necessarily think I'm comparing them, but it's like that. It's that
using
concert
them in the
experience,
same
bro.
sentence, though.
It's
Come
that
on,
concert.
no.
It's that live concert experience when you get a guy who's fucking been around the block, been around the world, seasoned, and this is kind of like his last hurrah. Like for instance, Rick Wakeman, legendary keyboard player of Yes, he's on a tour right now. I could have went and saw him, but what I found out was it's just him. It's just him and a fucking keyboard. That's it. So I was like, I don't know. And then I looked into some of the shows on YouTube, and it's him talking. Not 3 minutes, bro. He's talking for like goddamn 15 minutes at a time, bro.
Like that Paul Simon shit, right?
I got to see Yes with Supertramp back in
That's awesome.
Nice.
7, I think.
So John Anderson was still with them then?
I think so. I was really, really fucking stoned at that fucking concert. It was an outdoor concert, but it was covered up, and yet the weed smoke just stayed there, and I couldn't even finish my fucking can of a joint because just there was so much, and I had to get one of those rickshaws to take me to the subway.
I love that, man. Yes,
the
is
show was
great.
amazing though. The show, like having Yes there, I didn't even like. It was just like I won these tickets from a rock station, and it wasn't the old singer of Supertramp. It was the newer one, but dude, that whole fucking show was fucking awesome.
Prog is amazing, bro. I love progressive rock. I was lucky enough to see Yes in 2009. It wasn't with John Anderson, though, but Chris Squire was on bass. Oliver Wakeman, who is Rick Wakeman's son, was playing keyboards at the time, which is awesome. Alan White on drums. Yeah, what a fucking show that was. I saw Yes with Asia while John Wetton was still alive. Yes, dude. It was all the original members of Asia, actually. It was John Wetton, Jeff Downs on keyboard, Steve Howe on guitar. So he played with Asia that night and Yes, which was awesome.
I was going to ask.
Yes, and
that's awesome.
It's insane. And Carl Palmer on drums. And I will tell you guys right now, just to know a little bit about me, I am a massive Emerson, Lake and Palmer fan. Like it goes like, dude, it goes like the Beatles and like ELP, the Beach Boys for me. Those are like my top 3 right there. Yeah. So to see Carl Palmer live, he did the ELP drum solo, bro. He took his shirt off and he played the fucking gongs and all kind. Oh man, it was amazing. So that was a hell of a show. We need to do a show on Prog sometime. I know maybe YR you're not.
I second that notion. Absolutely.
That is something that like that. I don't know what it is about progressive rock, but it just I get it. I don't know. It's some, and I love what I call classic rock, which is 70s rock. Some people will debate things. In fact, YR remembers this. You, Paul, who loves progressive rock so much, do you define Boston as a progressive rock band, or would you consider them more like
Yes.
classic / stadium band?
They were early
All of
stadium
them.
rock. They were definitely not prog rock. A lot of bands
Come
have
on.
prog
my
influences.
God.
No, I used to be notorious for going on prog groups on Facebook, and back when you could see people's comments on groups, bro, I would tell everybody that is not prog. This isn't prog. This is not, dude. That's not fucking prog. I would be
Ladies
like
and
the
gentlemen,
prog
we have a
gatekeeper.
frog snob, and I fucking love it because that's
Exactly.
exactly the attitude you've got to take. And in fact, YR sort of just complained, but the problem is that
Well, no, they
he's
do have a.
protecting somebody called JB who again called Boston progressive rock, and I was like,
remember that.
no,
I
no.
remember that conversation. That was on Monetized
Even
Hits a
Leo
couple
was
years
There,
ago.
there
Yes.
is some.
Leo
Like
was
definitely
like,
more into the third album. It leans a little bit to that, but like,
No,
Leo
it
went to
doesn't,
Phil.
brother.
She's
No,
like,
it doesn't.
no,
come
Coach tells
on.
me
You're
this.
telling me Amanda is fucking prog, bro? I don't think so, man. They had some prog elements a little bit. I'll give you that,
That's
but
all
they
I'm
are
saying.
definitely
That's what I
Yes.
said
stadium
as
rock.
well.
That's all
That
I'm
doesn't
Influences?
saying.
make
No,
it
no, no, no.
prog.
You make a good point. Influences are one thing,
Yes.
That's
but
another thing.
That's
being
what me and Brown are saying
that
right now.
fucking definition is not the case.
You have to separate it. You can't call them prog though. Just if they have prog influences, you can't just
You know
say
what?
they're a prog band because
Fucking Led Zeppelin had classical influences on them. Are you going to call them classical? No, you're not. Okay,
that's
next
true.
question.
Real
That's
quick,
true.
give me the damn it, Brown. You have the.
You have to what?
Nice
Dang.
bong.
Damn,
Brown,
that's a
you
big
agree
one.
that it does have prog elements, Boston, but
I did,
I
yes.
mean,
Fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
there. Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
But
Hey,
it's
Paul,
not
are you
prog
and
rock.
Dave? They have a prog cruise, the Yes Cruise, Into the
Cruise
Earth
to the
cruise,
Edge. That's the name of it.
Cruise to the Edge. Yes, Paul, 3, you heard about this?
Yes, actually, there's
cool.
a woman named Bonnie Diver who's a radio DJ who's been a prominent radio DJ in Pittsburgh for many years, who is a close friend with my band, and she goes to Close to the Edge every year. And man, those lineups are stacked. I would like to do that, but I'm not like a cruise guy personally, so I don't know if you'll catch me on there, but so many acts, bro. Back when the Moody Blues were still kind of going a little bit, they were on the cruise. Unfortunately, now people are getting so old. You know, these musicians are getting so old that you have a lot of people kind of paying tribute, I guess you could say, to some of the prog guys. Like for instance, the guy who plays bass in Yes Now, his name is Billy Sherwood, and he's been kind of like a prog mainstay as like an old excuse me, as like a newer generation prog guy. So he's kind of like one of the newer guys, even though he's like 55 years old, still keeping the old stuff alive. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. He took over for Chris Squire, and those are big shoes to fill. But yeah,
Big one.
that's a lot of the people. Yeah, huge. That's a lot of the people you got on these cruises now. But hell, it's still really cool to see because they are master musicians. You got to be an amazing musician to play
I gotta
prog.
say one thing. That's similar to a very intimate audience, but you also have the environment of again a cruise, freedom, being out, in the ocean. You got like again a swimming pool and all this other shit that you can do. Um, I think, although it's not like a small intimate club, it's still intimate. And again, nobody can get off the fucking ship till you port. So it's just like again, it's. I mean, I'd be down with something like that.
I would too, as
Depending on
well.
the band.
And not as big of a commitment, I guess. I just want to give a plug out there too. There's a website called Aural Moon, Aural Moon.com. It's an internet prog radio station. Also, they have a chat on there, and it's a big worldwide community. I've known about this website since I was like 16 years old. So, and they know me over there. I'm actually Progressive Paul over there before progressive was a political term used every day. Yeah, that's my name over there. It's Progressive Paul, actually, which is kind of weird, but I highly recommend checking out auralmoon.com. There is music on there that you would never find anywhere. And it's wine owners, lawyers, bums who live in Romania. I mean, there's everybody on that website. It's amazing. So
Wow.
check it out, auralmoon.com.
may I
I'm gonna pull
recommend
that
it?
up right now, actually. And also, this is again my insight from all the years doing this, but this is where you post this on your chat there,
Mhm.
Dr. Earl
All
or
right, links.
YR, and people who are listening right now or listening later can tune in and check this site out. And I'm trying to pull it up myself. I was going to try to do this, but I'm not pulling it up. So AUREL moon.com.
AL. AURAL. Arl.
AURA AURAL,
Yes,
not
sir.
E. You stupid Canadian. Let's put it up right now. I personally want to check this out because again, if you're telling me I'm going to hear things that I've never heard before, I love that. I love hearing things that are just esoteric and that nobody knows about it. But again, like how the fuck can you get great music coming out of say Italy of all places, um, and you tune into like that randomly, um,
Um,
and you find something that again there's a band that I'm fucking enamored with. They're called X in
mm,
Japan because that's where they're from, but in the rest of the world they're called X Japan. They're basically Japanese power metal, but they also use symphonic aspects to their music. It's one of my favorite bands. They are fucking incredible, and without being open to things that
see.
you'd never consider, you'll never experience such fucking joy of hearing music that you might never hear. And in fact, there was a study that recently was released, and I need to say this, is that if you get goosebumps listening to music, it actually indicates a higher level of an intellect in that person because they can connect to music actually brings. Um, so I'll shut the fuck up, but I will ask again for this URL because it's not coming up for me there, Paul.
I got it
I
in
will
the
put it in the chat.
Okay.
I put it in
I'll,
links as well.
yeah.
Put it in links.
Link
Paul, what do you think about this?
that
Just
right.
overall, and then I think in 1982 or 83 they announced a farewell tour. But what about this Who announcing their farewell tour for real this time?
Yeah, we got to dig into
They're not
that.
coming here, but
Yeah,
I just want to touch on what Dave said real quick. And yeah, like that website that we're talking about, just to wrap it up, is literally the perfect like gateway to find exactly what you're talking about. There's Italian prog on there. There's prog from all over the world. And yeah, it looks like they have a tune-in app now. And I remember it from used to listen off of iTunes, bro. iTunes used to have like a radio section. Maybe they still do. And that's it. But it looks like they're on TuneIn right now, and I put it in the chat. So definitely check that out. But about the Who, I don't know. I don't trust any band anymore that says this is their final tour because that's been used so many times just to sell tickets and merch. So I
yeah.
yeah,
don't
but when they're
trust
old
it.
like
But it's
this,
hard.
though, then
Yeah.
you know.
But have you heard Roger Daltrey, bro? He sounds absolutely incredible, especially I don't even want to say for his age because he just sounds damn good in general. So I don't know. It feels like
I've
I
got to
feel like
bring
he
this
could
up
go for a
right now.
long freaking
I've
time.
got to bring this up is the fact that I brought this up in the past, and it just bothers me because we've got the Eagles who have gone on how many farewell tours? Now, they've continued to show that they're capable, at least in my opinion. But my problem is that because they've already made it 10 times over and they're living beautiful lives, they're still charging insane amounts to go attend their supposed last concert. It's like, okay, if it really is your last concert, fight. But if you're just going to keep playing with people and stuff, don't do that. And on top of that, you've already made your fucking million die amount of money that you made. Why not give back to the audience that has made you that rich and just do a show where the tickets are stupidly cheap and just and then actually fucking retire while you're still good. Like
Good
again,
idea.
is it really for the audience? Because we've heard stories of Billy Joel, for example, who buys out his front rows and then gives those tickets to the people in the nosebleeds because he knows that
What?
they're fans there. Yeah,
Yes,
you never
It's
exactly.
heard
like a
this thing?
thing. That's
Yeah.
cool.
No, but there's many artists
Wow.
out there that do that sort of thing where they realize, okay, I'm dealing with a crooked system, Ticketmaster and
Live
Live.
Nation.
Oh, it's so
Yeah, but
corrupt.
Trumpet Kid Rock are getting to fix that right as we
Hopefully,
speak.
hopefully they will. But the bottom
Yes.
line is that decades that this shit has been going on. This should be a show on its own. The conspiracy that is Live and fucking Livent and fucking Ticketmaster. The amount of money that they scam people out of, and then they allow for bots and other people to be able to buy their tickets so that they scam other people. It's not a conspiracy, people. It's huge. It's true, and there needs to be a light on this.
Yeah, I wouldn't
And
blame the
it,
bands too much. I wouldn't blame the bands too much and think that, like they're still doing it for the audience in a sense because they're still going out on tour. And it's not like, we should just be giving, like as a musician, I'm not just going to play for free. It's kind of a symbiotic relationship between the audience and the artist. You know what I mean? One benefits, there's got to be something like that between the two. And I think really the problem is not the bands so much because pay stagehands. And I think the real problem is Live Nation. I think it's Ticketmaster. I think they are the bastards who are ruining, I guess you could say, live music for a large group of people. A lot of people can't afford to go see some of these big bands, and they'll never be
Yep.
able to afford them.
well,
Exactly.
Oh, like
the bands, a lot of the bands do have a say though, because a lot of them you can do all-in pricing where the fees are included, and the bands
I
have
want to throw a
as much
curveball.
say on what they want the ticket.
I want to throw a curveball. So somebody I'm certainly not a fan of. What's her name? Oh, fuck.
Taylor Swift.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. She paid her fucking crew for their work after like what a 5-year tour or whatever the fuck she just recently came off of, like big time money. So she paid them for their effort. Uh, so it's not like this is not recognized, and there aren't artists who, again, have so much fucking money that they can, if they want to, write this off as like a tax refund or whatever. But like they literally are capable of doing that. I've never heard of anybody else being as generous. I've heard of artists being generous, but like to the point where she just paid these huge amounts but also like you said, Paul, logistics, all the people involved in stuff. Yeah, it takes a lot to put on a show, but who's really recognizing those that are putting that up? So I just wanted to throw that out.
Well,
And it only gets cheaper, and it stops when the fan stops paying the exorbitant amounts, and because as long as the fans keep paying the exorbitant amounts, they can keep charging the exorbitant amounts.
yeah. Let me
And
throw
look,
in.
most shows and most events have all-in pricing, but there's bands like Pearl Jam and others that you purchase through the website, and it's $60 to fucking for great seat or whatever. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, let me. I think one other reason why the prices are so high is because of the production that these artists had to put on at every stage, whether it's lights, dancers, stage props, gimmicks like some of the Katy Perry's performances. Let's also not forget the insurance towards the venue. They got to pay out just as well. And let's not also, as we mentioned, the road crew. They need to be paid just as well. So I
Which
think
when
that
me and Brown saw, and it goes to the details. Like me and Brown, when we saw Priest, the crew that was moving the instruments around on stage, they even had jumpsuits, custom Judas Priest jumpsuits. So it even goes down
Yep,
to they have uniforms for the workers, bro.
yep,
Some of them,
exactly.
most of it's just a T-shirt, but it goes to exorbitant. But real quick, because I don't want to forget about this. And Paul 3, you were shitting on this. I don't know if you're being for real, but this Joe Perry project, bro.
Oh, yeah, we got to get into that
The
one.
Jesus Christ, man. This might be the biggest week in news for rock, like the mega epic stuff. The Joe Perry project, so we know
Yeah.
Aerosmith. Aerosmith. I was planning on going to this tour, but they canceled Aerosmith's big farewell tour. They canceled it because of Steven Tyler's voice. He was walking or something and he hit it on like a pole, a piece of furniture that actually physically screwed up his. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean his voice is gone forever. It's an injury, and they ended up canceling the tour. But Joe Perry, who is not really the best guitar player in Aerosmith, Kirk Franklin is. Or what's his name? Paul 3, you're a big fan of him? Having a brain fart.
Brad Whitford, bro.
Brad Whitford. Brad Whitford. So the Joe Perry project, which has been a thing before, they're coming in now, bringing in Brad Whitford on guitar. Okay, I don't know if he was in the band before. I doubt it.
No, he wasn't.
You're getting Buck Johnson on keyboards and backing vocals, who was in Aerosmith.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting the rhythm section on bass and drums of Stone Temple Pilots, guys. Okay, brain farting on the names, but the bass and the drummer from Stone Temple Pilots, and on the singer, the singer is Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes.
That's a surprise. That's a surprise and a half because
who Jimmy Page worked with the Black Crowes in the 90s on some Led Zeppelin stuff and all that, Paul.
Yes.
So before you shit on the Black Crowes, just know they're really good, and
the Black
Jimmy
Crowes
Page likes them,
bro. No, the Black Crowes are terrible. Why would they've ruined that band? Holy shit! Well, now Joe Perry, Joe Perry is like a dollar store Keith Richards, bro. He thinks he's Keith Richards or something like that. He's not.
Oh, dude. Well, let me add this.
I do agree.
Well, let me add this. Well, let me add this. Joe Perry was a major influence on Warren DeMartini from Rat. In fact, one time back in the 80s, Joe Perry appeared on stage with Rat to jam on a couple of songs, and he allowed Perry to play that one guitar that nobody else has touched except Warren. But it's also Joe Perry project originally started back in 1980 after Perry departed from Aerosmith. Him and Steven Tyler were bickering left and right, and finally Joe said, "I'm done." He went put together this band. He released 3 albums. Let the Music Do the Talking from 1980, which title cut was.
But were any
huge.
of the singers? I'm saying, were any of the singers as big as Chris Robinson from Black Crowes? Though?
No, this is like an all-star version of the Joe Perry project we're talking here.
Paul, how can you shit on this? Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin worked with Black Crowes in the 90s, bro.
And I think that sucked too, bro. I'm just not a fan of the Black Crowes. I think they sound like a glorified shitty garage band. I'm just not a fan. I think it's terrible.
I have to agree. I'm not a.
Well, let me say this. I first dug the style that the Black Crowes were sporting, the black clothing.
They're big.
Yes,
they're big weed guys too, guys. Big cannabis supporters.
They were, yes. But when they started dressing like hippies and going on stage barefoot during the 90s, during this jam band stuff like that, and wait a minute, it says you're calling on Discord. Hold on a second.
Okay, so
let's see what we got here. YR, what's up? You put you on speaker.
Yo, I'm here.
I'm here. Then what?
How'd you doing?
I don't know. You called me.
No,
on
I
your
didn't.
Phone here. It's right
no,
here.
I didn't. I'm here.
It's right.
No, I didn't. Here. I'm still on the call.
Hold on.
What's going on?
Hello?
No one's calling you. I'm fucking right here.
Ghost
calls? No one's calling you.
I don't know what it is going on, man. I don't know what the fuck it is. But
block them. Block them.
All right, there. It's on the phone. Few seconds. Blah,
piece
blah,
of
blah.
shit. He's fucking trying to evade ICE. SC Steve's probably calling you, the prick. No, listen. In all seriousness, Iron Maiden is a prog metal band, and Dream Theater is a prog rock band. Paul 3, would you agree?
Oh, geez, that's a hard one. I would just
prog metal.
I would say Maiden. I don't know. I just want to call Maiden heavy metal, bro. That's all I want to call Maiden. They're not metal. Yeah, they're heavy metal.
And what's prog metal? Prog is prog. It just
No,
Prog metal is a thing. If you listen to like
Really?
Liquid Tension, if you listen to Liquid Tension
Dream
Experiment,
Theater.
well, Dream Theater, I
Dream
guess you
Theater,
could call
that's a
them
big one.
prog metal as well. Yeah,
Queen's right. No.
they get that moniker a lot, but I mean, I don't
Really?
know. Yeah, they
Okay, so I'm
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
really not
did.
aware of a genre that exists, which is prog metal. I
Yeah,
will
it's not. It gets
research.
shit on a lot. It gets shit on a lot for being really cringe,
No,
honestly, and
I
being
kind of
like,
like. I like Queensryche stuff. I
okay,
mean,
yeah.
am I
Yeah.
bad? I don't know. I mean,
No.
I like prog metal. I like instrumental prog metal. Like for instance, there is a band called Liquid Tension Experiment, and it's members of Dream Theater without the singer, and it's insane. I
Mm.
would
Oh,
recommend.
really?
okay, I gotta
Yeah.
have to look this up then because I do want to listen to. Again, we don't have this these days. Where again, you could have an instrumental album, and it takes you on a fucking voyage, and
Oh
you
my
don't
God.
need any fucking words. So, what's it called again? I'm just gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, the
What's it called?
band is Liquid Tension Experiment. I
I
mean, you
want to
can
go.
listen to
I want
any
to go on
song
a
by them.
musical journey with Dave and Paul, and I want to
Well,
go to the
that's the band to do
Sphere.
it.
We'll all
We
do
need
ayahuasca together.
Tell you what, how
go to the
about this?
Sphere and go see Dead and Company. You know?
Well, and speaking of Prague, what about Tangerine Dream? I know you approved of what I
Yeah,
put in the chat there. Albums like Atim, Phaedra, Rubicon, that's what got me into them. My
they've
favorite is
got a
still
lot of
Atim.
content. You're the one that pointed me towards them and stuff, and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
they really have. They have like a lot in their catalog, and it just each song is just again just discovering them. Okay, you'd
Mhm.
never heard of them before. Earl's like, check them out. I'm like, I'm checking them out. I'm like, whoa. Like, I wish I knew about this stuff sooner because like this music is fucking awesome.
It is.
Yeah, actually, Tangerine Dream is the brainchild of a man named Edward Froese or Edgar
Edgar
Froese.
Froese.
Actually, I
Edgar
had to look it
Froese.
up because I couldn't remember his name, but I knew. Yeah, yeah, I just knew it was that one guy. I couldn't remember his name, but man, what a genius he is, dude. And yeah, Tangerine, you're right, Dave. Tangerine Dream has a lot, a lot of content, a lot of work out there. But yeah, that's another band that you could kind of listen to almost any era of it, and it's going to be good. There's going to be, you can hear the technological advancements in their music too, because they've been around for so long.
And
But
when you know, like for me, a geek who knows about electronics and stuff, and you know about how they put all these
Oral
different
song.
machines together to create these unique sounds. And it was just
Yep,
a
that's him.
fucking mess of spaghetti cables and like
It's like
diodes.
Minnesota.
It was just
Go.
Yeah.
insane what they
No,
were able to accomplish.
no, Pro.
Bands like Mastodon. Now I did type in your chat, Brown, on YouTube,
Yes.
and it's you can't. I put money on the table, whatever. It's like really only 4 or 5 bands. I didn't mention Foo Fighters on there, but it's really only like a few bands that can actually sell out or attempt to play American football stadiums.
Mm,
And
that's it.
AC/DC is one of them, Paul 3.
I know.
yeah,
So
but stadium shows suck. I'll always say
they
that. Like,
do, but
I don't
they
care
do
about
suck.
the
But
band. I don't. Most of
it
Well,
those
is an
bands
epic
doing
thing. It
that,
is a lot of people.
most of those
I don't
bands
know,
doing
dude.
that, I don't want to see.
Hold on.
Honestly.
I don't know if stadium shows really suck because I've heard well, first of all, I've been in a stadium listening to Pink Floyd. That was fucking awesome. Um, it was the Pulse tour, but I've seen footage like La Plata, like River Plate, ACDC, for example, in the mid '90s in Argentina, and they did a show, and it was just, oh my god, this is incredible. What about fucking Pink Floyd doing it? Can't remember that Italian city, and they did it in the middle of that
Venice.
port.
Venice. Venice,
Yeah,
Italy.
that was and all the controversy around that show as well. But yeah, okay, back to stadium shows. Like I think was it Guns N' Roses? Sorry, I'm a little stoned, but Guns N' Roses. One of the songs that they did in the stadium was actually put onto their album Best of. I think that's what it was called. And it just, oh my God, like I prefer live music. And you were talking about that the other day. Live music is where it's at. It's not fucking recorded music, Paul. And I think that's where it's at because you can hear an alteration to the song that you've already heard, but there's so much more feeling, and you're there.
I think why I said stadium shows suck is because I know the tomfoolery that goes along with most bands and artists playing those stadium shows. There's a lot of backing tracks, a lot of fakeness going on, and also you don't really, sometimes you don't get the best sound at a football stadium, to be honest,
No,
especially
that's
if
right.
it's open air. A lot of that sound goes up in
It
the air.
is very echoey and muddy, but
Yes,
it
yes, and
depends.
but that's the thing though. Don't you guys agree that there's been organizations out there that have actually purposely tried to build their buildings so that they were more conducive towards better sound? I mean, like Sky, I don't, but the ACC, that actually is quite good. Um,
And Texan
Again, you
Stadium
guys
is
have
real,
your
real
own
bad
examples
too.
here in America. Sorry,
Yeah.
Meyer.
Are you okay with paying that, much of money for a ticket and having the artist pretty much fake half of what he's doing
Oh
when there's
fuck
clips of
no.
Nikki Six out there not even playing the bass, stupid crap like that. Even a lot with Kiss, man. Oh my God, the Paul Stanley voice controversy was
I know it
absolutely
was.
horrible.
I know backing tracks. He was using those because obviously his
Mhm.
voice had went to shit because of that throat surgery he had years ago.
Well, not just that. I mean, Paul Stanley pushed his voice like no other. He pioneered the term vocal gymnastics because I
Mm.
mean, why I say I love the '80s Kiss so much. Paul Stanley was at his vocal prime, bro. I can't even fathom some of the shit that he was singing for that long too. He had his voice probably until about 2014 because he did like a solo promo video with no makeup there, and he played some of his old hits like "Tonight You Belong to Me" off of the Kiss four solo albums that they had in the '70s. You can find that video online. But his voice was amazing for many years. But he's a human just like all of us, and when you work it that hard for that many nights, it's bound to shit out on you. So,
88
but
when
yeah,
you
I mean, I like. Go
88
ahead.
when you saw that solo tour.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
See, there's a video from 20, I want to say
Ah,
14. Paul Stanley was doing some solo stuff and he had no makeup on and he played some of the songs from yesteryear. Like I said, he played Tonight You'll Belong to
wow.
Me, which is from the 70s, when Kiss did the four solo albums there.
Yes, I remember.
Um, yeah, and then Ace had the hit with "Back in the New York Groove." Gene Simmons, he did "When You Wish Upon a Star," which is kind of crazy on his.
Wow.
Peter Chris, man, I love this song. You matter to me, you still matter to me. Listen to that. That's my song recommendation. Peter Chris
Right.
solo, "You Still Matter to Me." It was like no other. It has keyboard. It's kind of like a funky little groove. It's not Kiss sounding at all. But I mentioned that because Peter Chris is releasing a new album, I guess, coming up here in a couple months. He's recording a new album, which kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, because I almost got
Very
confused because I remember Paul Stanley did a short solo tour at some of the clubs back in towards the fall of 1988, and Warrant, when they were coming out, was the opening act for those shows.
Can I
Is
say
it?
Warrant? Warrant
Yes.
is probably, for me, is my favorite hair metal act. Janie Lane was a legitimate songwriter. He would have been a hit in any era, bro. He could have wrote songs in the 60s, 70s. It didn't matter. That guy was fucking money. I love Warrant. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of them. And the way that he died is so damn depressing. I
And
mean,
the
he
way
was
he
just coming back.
portrayed himself as that cherry pie type of guy when when people associate him with that song, but yet let's not forget Uncle Tom's Cabin, Down Boys, the title
Sometimes
cut
she
from
cries.
Sometimes She Cries, I Saw Red, about that song.
Oh, oh, bro, I saw read about catching your girlfriend cheating on you.
I know,
What a
yes, I know,
genius
I heard
song.
about that. Yes. But going back to
Yeah,
prog rock,
Janie Lane is amazing, bro.
but
Sorry.
going back to prog rock, can I recommend you this artist who is no longer with us? He died in 2022, Klaus Schulze. he was at one time a member of the early Tangerine Dream. He had albums like Cyborg, Black Dance, My Favorite, Earlicht, which even though he's considered the what do we call it? Son of a bitch, the word just escaped my mouth. Electronic pioneer music along with the TD, but there's no synthesizers on Earlicht. It was just an organ played through a beat up old guitar amplifier with the orchestra. It's a 3 movement album. The first movement is Plain as a Desert Plain. The second movement is Thunderstorm. And the third movement is something called Excel Sans Maria, if I'm correct. And that whole piece is totally backwards. And the story about that is that when they recorded that whole piece, it was sent to the mixing plant, tails out apparently. And when Schultz got the test pressing for the album, he noticed it was backwards. He called his record label up and he said, "Hey, movement number 3 is backwards, but leave it like that because it actually sounds better." It's a badass record. I discovered it by pure accident when I was living with my girlfriend at the time back in 2012. So there we go. Got to check
Yeah,
his
Klaus
name.
Schulze was a genius as well. No doubt. I actually haven't heard that name in a long time,
He also
and it looks like he would.
he also
It looks
collaborated
like
with Lisa Gerard from Dead Can Dance, another band you got to check out sometime soon.
And it looks like he was in the band Ashra Temple, which man,
Yes.
I used to love that band in college. I did a college radio station or college radio show, excuse me, for 4 years, all 4 years in college. And my bed, my like the thing that I talked over, kind of my theme song, was a song called "Freak and Roll" by Ashra Temple.
Mm.
It is one of the trippiest pieces of music that you will ever hear in your
You
life.
went
So,
to Penn State?
no, but
No, dude.
similar. Similar.
No, listen, you were radio TV broadcasting too?
Yeah, I have a degree in communications.
just,
Yes.
just like Joe.
Dave. Yeah,
Oh, I know.
that's pretty cool. Pretty cool, Paul, for real.
Yeah,
Yo,
this
so I sent the
does
piece.
music.
I sent a screenshot in the links, I believe, of the ACDC, how much seats in Pittsburgh tonight. I think that's where the Steelers play, right? Stadium?
Yeah, that's
Whatever that.
actually my band was not actually in the stadium, but we got to play at the stadium last year in conjunction with a Steelers event. And I have some video footage of me running out into the field. I did a front flip into the end zone, and then the security proceeded to yell at me. But yeah, it was pretty
What?
cool. We had our own dressing room right by the Steelers dressing room and everything. Yeah, so Acrisure Stadium is what it's called. So that is a hell of a place, I gotta say. But I don't know about seeing a concert there.
It has a roof or no?
No, it has no roof, and like
Oh, that sucks.
I'm considering going. There's a Billy Joel, Rod Stewart show that might be kind of cool.
What?
Yeah, and then
Interesting.
George Strait is coming too, and I kind of like some
That'd be
'90s
really
country.
good. It's pricey. That's probably Garth Brooks could sell out a stadium, I bet too.
Yeah, I'm
Perhaps.
not a big Garth Brooks fan, but I like some George Strait. To be honest, I like
George
him
Strait is good, but it's gonna be pricey, bro. That shit's
Yeah.
really. I mean, he tours like twice a year.
What about
Right.
like Day of though? You think they drop or?
I mean, bro, there's shit. I mean, everyone's just like, I don't
That's
know
one
if I
I'm
play
actually
that game
considering.
anymore. I mean, look, it
What?
depends, bro. Like,
You were my ticket guy. What are you talking about? You don't
I
play the
know, but
game
now,
anymore.
like, some of these sports games are doing like sellouts, and that's weird. Maybe it'd just be a sports thing because it's playoffs, but I don't know.
Oh,
Even this
playoffs, yeah.
ACDC thing tonight, ACDC, if you want to go see them in Pittsburgh, you can go see them right now. You can go for whatever that, you can go on, there's maybe 40 seats left, maybe a little bit more than that, but
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. If I would have like thought about this like a little earlier, like 2.5, 3 hours earlier, I might have went. I probably would have been
you're a
like, yeah.
hypocrite, bro. What a hypocrite,
Well,
Dave.
and I'm just thinking because like, what am I doing right now, bro? I'm like sitting on my ass doing fucking nothing. So I
No,
mean,
you know what'd be crazy is like you're broadcasting from that show. Be like, YR, I'm here. And they still suck.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, no, I definitely would have called you guys. I mean, there's been no doubt about that. But shit, if I could still make it, maybe. Nah, yeah.
For the outro, for the encore.
I'll make it for
You got an
Thunderstruck.
hour. You got an hour and 30 minutes.
What did they close with? Whole lot of Rosie?
For those about to rob.
I kind of
What?
figured. Yeah.
With the
That's in,
cannons and everything.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
Did they play Highway to Hell?
oh, they got to.
Of course.
Of course, they
Yeah, but
had
it's so
to.
shit. Dude, Brian Johnson sounds terrible trying to sing that, though. He does not
And
sound
that's
good,
the
dude.
point that I wanted to see you guys both debate is that YR felt it was surreal. That's fine. Okay. Don't take that away from
Huh?
him, Paul. But the fact is, when you compare him, Brian Johnson, right now, with that show, to, say, David Lee Roth, who, again, at his age, is killing it. Like, again, the topic that I had suggested to these guys who know way more than me is like, when is it time to hang it up? When is it time to retire and be like, we're done? Because this is an embarrassment. To be quite honest, YR, ACDC right now touring is an embarrassment. I love them. I know Paul doesn't like their music. I do. I don't consider it to be like life changing or anything like that. It's poppy. It's simplistic
It's not
music.
poppy. What do you think
Dude,
poppy?
it's
It's rock
simplistic
and
in its
roll.
way that it's
Cookie.
orchestrated, okay? But it's still enjoyable. It's like I tried to explain earlier in the chat uh, a while ago, but regardless, ABBA, again, ABBA is pop music. It's just it's like it's catchy, but does it really tell you, okay, like for example, Pink Floyd Pigs, through different kinds.
Yep.
That actually makes you sort of analyze a world situation. Meanwhile, you've got fucking Lick It Up from Kiss. Like
Horrible
there's
fucking
certain
song.
music that
The
is
worst song.
catchy, but really doesn't make you, consider the state of the world. Am I
No, I
wrong?
agree, but
I-
there's I mean, look at how many tickets sold for Pittsburgh tonight. At the end of the day, these people are like 80, and who gives a fuck? It's ACDC. Have a couple beers, smoke a joint. It's fucking fun. People don't care about that shit. Like how the Brian Johnson has to sound like the Black and Black record, bro. They're fucking bringing their kids, their grandkids. Like I saw multi-generation people, bro, grandparent, everything.
And
Who
that's
can
why
you?
music's dead. And that's why
What
good
shows
music's
can you
dead. And
go
that's
that
why
do
we
that
can't
though?
progress. That's why we can't progress as a rock community anymore, is because you people go out there and accept absolute lower than mediocrity about people bleeding fans for money. We just talked about that. They're working with Ticketmaster, they're working with Live Nation, they're working with the crooks, bro, hand in hand. So at what point did they become the crooks? Because they're essentially stealing money from you, dude. It's one original member? It's one original member touting themselves like this is the original ACDC. And that's what people are getting the impression of, bro. And that's why we can't progress as a rock community. Why aren't we putting new rock bands out on that pedestal?
They
Why
did.
do we
The
gotta put
Pretty
80-year-olds
Reckless.
out there?
The
What?
Pretty Reckless is opening for ACDC right now. The Pretty Reckless is a new band. You prick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
They're
not
helping
no,
new
they're
not
not.
bands.
They're not.
nobody's
necessarily
They're
paying
new.
not.
for them.
They've been around
Nobody's
at
paying
least
for
a
them.
decade.
I haven't
You
even
know what I
heard of
mean?
them, bro. I haven't even heard of them. I
Oh,
didn't
I've
even know
heard
they
of
were
them a
doing
few
it.
times. That
They're
girl who
pretty good.
sings.
No, I
That
mean I haven't heard the news that they're opening. Like that's not out there. Why are you only know that because you've been at the show?
You
That's not
fucking
like being
dumb.
promoted,
hold up. I've heard of.
idiots.
I've seen ACDC live ads
I've
on
seen them.
Facebook, on social media, and yes, Pretty Reckless are opening up for these gigs that they're doing.
People know. People know,
But
Yes,
Paul.
in fact,
guess
the
what,
singer.
asshole?
In fact, the
Guess what?
Just
They're
singer
because
in
we
my
who.
don't know
town
about
tonight.
it doesn't mean people
Guess
don't
what?
know. Come on.
They're in my town tonight, and I still had no damn fucking clue. So what does that say? Very, very poor promotion.
Hmm. Well, for the record,
Busy
Taylor
with your you
Monson.
were busy
Well,
with
you're,
music
you're not.
though. You were busy with your
Oh,
music
you're not
stuff.
a
You weren't
boomer,
like
so you probably don't hang out all day on fucking Facebook.
Why are I thought you didn't have Facebook? Oh no, that was
Oh,
Earl.
he certainly
I
does
already
Well,
knew
I'm
this
not.
tour was I already knew they're gonna tour when they did the power trip.
Dude, he's a boomer for sure when he's going to fucking shows where everyone's got gray hair and fucking can't even stand right without a fucking walker.
Devious Dave Rose likes David Lee Roth better than Sammy Hagar. We
No,
found out tonight.
actually, I I kind of prefer
Come
Sammy.
on, you were really
Dude,
you were
dude.
glazing DLR tonight.
No,
No,
I wanted to.
because look at the guy. Do
I
you
know.
think you're gonna look that good, even with the hair plugs? You think
He
you're
looks
gonna look
better
that good?
now
Dude,
than a lot better
there is
before. That's what I'm
nothing.
saying.
Well,
This is a big
I
comeback.
want to have half that energy at that
Do you know
age.
how far we've come with hair transplants in this day and age? David Lee Roth looks fucking absolutely incredible. I think it was a genius move having those weird background singers type thing
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
Motown.
And
I
the
I think that
guitar
was a
player
yeah.
Al Destrita, he's a Van Halen tribute player
I think it
fan
was a
guy
good
too.
move. Honestly, I think it was a good move. You know, and he definitely needed some support vocally, no doubt about it. But man, yeah, like you said, he still moves great. He still looks the part. He still looks
And the
like a
deep
rock and roll
tracks, though,
frontman.
it's all look. He
But
plays
that's
everything
the
you
thing, though,
want,
even with
Yeah.
but
okay,
Panama to
Paul,
jump at the
you make
deep
some good
tracks,
points.
bro.
Paul is, again, not exactly what I'm at right now, but okay, he makes some good points. Even still, compared to Brian Johnson and what you were highlighting, which you said was pathetic, which it was the guy just he can't do it no more. And
The
just
gas
even
did run out. The gas ran out, but you have to commend. He's like 78.
no, but
Okay,
that's the thing though. I'm not
that's a
taking
football.
away.
That's a
No,
foot. That's the width of a football
listen.
field that he's walking on. By the
You know
way,
what I mean?
it's a huge.
No, but here's the thing. I can't blame the guy for wanting to do it because the one is that he doesn't and they don't have this realization or they're just doing it for the money. We're just like, we know we can't do it, but we know we're gonna people like why are we gonna pay fucking ticket prices to sit in the fucking nosebleeds and still record us and put their videos on YouTube because yeah, we're ACDC. Like, dude, I love you, ACDC, but like you should have stopped long ago. Okay, because right now it's making a mockery.
But how can you
Yeah,
be
it's embarrassing.
two guys? You didn't even go to the show, and you're saying it wasn't good. But
It's
me,
ruining their legacy, bro.
Eddie
I
Trunk,
mean,
and
I would have
it's
maybe considered it.
anonymously people actually went to the concert, say it was great.
Bow
Of
out with
course they did,
grace.
bro. They paid money. What are they gonna come away and say it
Maybe y'all
sucked?
are
Of course
just
they're gonna
listening to
come.
not good videos. I don't
No,
No,
know.
they're
but
I
gonna
mean,
you
come.
know
you
They're
what?
look
gonna
at the
come.
chart, Paul
Okay,
3. You look at the
yeah.
chart of your stadium tonight, and you see how many tickets sold there. Like
How about
it's like
this?
95% sold out.
Let's put it through this perspective. Okay, so Paul Three's already seen the footage of Frankie Valli, right? So you basically have someone who's taken a hostage and performing and not even performing. And it's sort of very equivalent to what's going on with ACDC is that they're not really performing, but they're there and people are willing to pay it. So really, whose fault is it? Those that are putting these people up to do it or the ones that are paying for it?
People like YR who don't support like his local actual rock bands or do anything to search out
Great
new
point.
rock music, and
And dude,
he's
YR,
giving money to
check out
tributes
local.
and idiots.
Okay, you know what? I'll say this. I've seen some great fucking rock bands, just up and comers, starters and stuff that were playing in a fucking church basement. Why exclude that opportunity to see somebody who maybe soon will be on our next stage? And more importantly, it's just like why are you going for the big names, the cover bands, the tribute bands? You can't just go and enjoy just a random show, just a band you don't know about. Because I've got to agree with Paul
No, because
here.
that shit's lame, bro. When you go to
What?
concert, you don't know it. You don't know any of the songs. You go to concerts. That's the most boring. I hate that shit.
What,
I
Like
dude?
that
love that.
fucking
In
Weezer
fact, you know
concert.
what? Every
That
time I
Weezer
hear a fucking
concert
song
was
that I don't
horrible.
know, that I know on the
Nah.
radio, I change the channel. I want to
Bro,
hear music I don't know.
I'm not talking about Weezer, bro. I'm talking about like, okay, I'll throw it back to my band because that's the only example I have. Like, for instance, when we do a 3 hour show, yes, we do our original music. Of course we mix it in, but we do covers, bro. We do covers our own way, though. We're not like tribute acts at all. We'll add to covers, we'll take away covers, we'll like kind of freshen them up. We'll do stuff with them that kind of makes them our own. So we play covers, but we're also an up and coming original rock band. So like, would you ignore bands like that in your area? Because I know Texas has plenty of rock bands down there. Some probably, you know, at your best, like you could probably get some like Pantera like fucking rock shit. Like I'm
Yeah,
sure, bro.
Pantera, Dave. For Christ's sake, so
Fuck
come on.
Pantera. How about that?
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm just saying we played with a band from like West Virginia and they were like heavier rock. They're called Scattered Hamlet and they had like a Pantera kind of vibe to them, but they were also like southern rock at the same time. It was pretty
Mm,
good. I'm just saying like dude, you probably have some good shit where you're at YR, but you're like
I
too
can dig that.
afraid to actually look for it.
Yep.
You
Personal
just go for the
preference.
easy shit. No, you just go
Yeah,
for
I
the
like to go to concerts of shit of songs I know. Yes,
Why
it's
Well,
well,
much
you were
more
yeah,
commenting
entertaining.
on my band you were commenting on
and
my band's music, like, "Oh, yeah, this and
hold
that." I
on.
don't know, so
Why
what the
are you
fuck?
like to go to concerts of songs you know, but of band members you don't from the cover bands that cover these sorts of things? That's again, like you're
What do you
enamored
want me
with
to
going to
do?
cover.
Watch fucking wrestling and play video games all day? Come
No, but
on.
no. What do I want?
I
With
went to
you, I
I
want
went to
you to
more
go see an indie
real.
show. Go fucking listen to a band you've never heard of. See whether or not they're even any good. Maybe they
The
are,
rest of the
and they're
audience,
selling a
rest of the
fucking
audience should.
CD that they burnt, and they're like, "Yeah, maybe you can give me $5 for this thing." And then you're like, "Dude, I love this shit. Let's share with other people." That's how it used to happen back in the day. I remember that
Local bands do
Exactly.
open for regular been too, like the Ace Frehley show, Paul 3. They had a local band open.
Yeah.
Rat show, or the Stephen Piercy. So it depends. Like you get that mix, but
You know what?
personally,
Actually,
You can
that
meet those people, bro. You can meet those people. You don't have to pay to meet them. They're usually like really cool. You can get some free merchandise. Like from my point of view, bro, like I've signed autographs and stuff. Like I'm not trying to say anything. Like I'm
what?
nobody. But I've had yeah, bro. I've had people, we've had lines of people buying merch. They want this signed. Oh, all the bandmates have to sign this and that. And I've done all that, bro. I've literally done all that. So like
nice.
you can talk to these bands and stuff. Like you don't have to. They're not like people you have to pay to meet or anything, bro. Like
Well,
you're missing out.
Dr. Brown completely wastes his talent. He could be in a tribute band. He could be in a original. But I don't know why you're not playing at a bar or
You
something
know
like
what? I
Paul
should.
3.
Speaking of which, I need to
Come
start
on,
playing
man.
again because I've been so busy. Got to remember, I have a my job works me till about 10 p.m. at night.
We all
And
have jobs, bro. We all have jobs. We can make time to do other things, bro. That's no excuse. Your
Yeah,
talent is so
maybe
immerseful.
after your
You
job,
want
you go to a bar, you do a quick little set, Dr. Earl and the Time Lords,
yep.
and
Dr. Brown.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
Dr. Brown.
you
Yes.
want to hear, dude? This is what you got to do, bro. This is what it's like. Like yesterday, I worked my day job full time.
Mhm.
Today I played a gig. Tomorrow I'm playing another gig. Saturday I work my day job and then I'm going that night to play a gig. Sunday I wake up and work my day job. Like that's just what you have to do like nowadays to pretty much be a musician and try and like get somewhere. You have to have some sort of job, bro. You have to bust your ass. You can't just be a bum
Exactly.
loser.
Yeah, you got to work to pay the bills.
And well,
Cause
I mean, I guess the point is just because you have a job doesn't mean like you can't get out there and
I
play
know,
music and try and do
I
something.
know.
Yeah, I
But
do have to say, Bullfrog, since he's in the mix, he is. There's only a few people on Joe Cronin show. Him, obviously,
Luke
our Lord and
Rojas.
Savior. Yeah, our Lord and Savior Luke Rojas, our champion.
Luke Rojas.
Cronin, Cronin, and Dork Knight. Just those 4 or 5 guys are, pretty damn entertaining. Bullfrog men, we love you, and
Yeah,
hopefully we'll get a Bullfrog opinion on
I
Gene
was
Simmons or
hoping you get Bullfrog on the show altogether. And going back to Frankie Valli, I decided to look up some info about him. This is from Google. Frankie Valli's recent performances has sparked concern due to videos circulated online showing him appearing frail and potentially struggling with choreography. While Valli has stated that he is just fine and happy still to be performing, the videos have led to some fans questioning his well being and suggesting that he may be forced to perform. Here's a more detailed look. Viral performances, videos of Valley singing and dancing have gone viral thanks to platforms like TikTok, of course. They have raised concerns about his health or whether he's being pressured to perform. Now, some fans have even suggested that Valley's team may be involved in what is called elder abuse. And despite the concerns, Valley continues to perform, has upcoming shows across the country. And check this out. Valley was granted a restraining order against his son, Francesco, earlier this year due to safety concerns. So,
Well, there's people like me and Paul 3 who just would like to be in the same, like, this Gene Simmons. We'd like to just see him talk in the same building as him. So there's just people that want to see Frankie Valli just to be in the same building, not necessarily to hear his voice, but this is a sad scenario going on, Paul.
No, this isn't even close to the Gene Simmons thing, bro. Like,
well, this is way different.
This is bad, man. This is elderly abuse, is what that is. They're squeezing that guy for every last penny that he has. So, like Dave Rose has said in the Discord chat, don't make deals with the mafia, kids. You'll be doing this till you're fucking 95.
Yeah, that's true there. Oh boy. And by the way, I also put the 2 links to the Klaus Schulze albums in the links section of our page here. Definitely check
You're
them
also
out.
going to need that
everybody.
link again from Oro. It's not working for me there, Paul. So put it in the general chat, I guess.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, good idea there.
But yeah, I'm going to be looking up Liquid Tension Experiment. And it's interesting because they started in 1997. And again, I was ignorant of this, but even Wikipedia refers to them as progressive metal supergroup. So again, a genre that I was not aware of. I think it might be redundant. I haven't heard it, but there's been a lot of influence of progressive on metal. So because progressive is sort of, in my opinion, it's difficult to define somewhat. You could have elements of metal in it, and I would still think it's progressive, but again, I'm being told, check these guys out, and I'm always open to listening to new bands. So Liquid Tension Experiment, people, check it out.
All right. Well, I just sent a link of The Who from fucking a month ago, and they sound like they need to retire, like right now. So Paul 3, everyone.
But not AC/DC.
Look, you got to keep in mind, this is a video. It's different when you're there, and a lot of different.
So it's different if I'm there with the Who then.
Mm.
It's an eminence front. It's a put on. That's what you're doing right now, Fire. It's a put on.
Or it would be the same. I mean, you know what? It is kind of like the same thing going on. Two original or two members that we know of, that we know.
Yep.
Two popular members. I don't know. It is. That's a good question, Dave Rule. Oh, do you want? Do you have the half a pound back of rye for me?
Yeah, big time.
No, I would see the Who though, but it is weird. It's a bad video.
The whole conversation, I think, revolves around the fact is, I think, when is it best for a band to retire? Because, like, honestly, you've enjoyed them so much, you want them to leave sounding good, right? Not going to the Frankie Valli point where it's just like, dude, what are you doing?
But there are still markets for that. That's what I'm saying. It's never gonna. There's bands that'll never end, and it'll sound.
I made a big explanation about that earlier. It's just like, look, if there's people who are willing to pay, like you, Wire, to go see AC/DC, and people like paying for Frankie Valli, like there's always going to be that market and stuff.
But we're talking in rock and metal isn't really like, if we're talking live concerts. I mean, like you were talking about, what's her name? The pop, all these pop singers. First of all, like
Taylor
Shakira,
Swift.
J-Lo. A lot of pop artists aren't even singing live, number one, at these concerts. So a lot of their shit, their fans are paying for You know, I mean, you go to a rap concert, the rappers are talking in the mic, but the beats and there's sometimes drums and bass, like but most of the time they're playing off a computer. The beats, so it's not even live. Like a rap concert would be the worst. I mean, I've been to a few, but yeah, those are the worst. But like, people go to these pop shows and it's not even live. It's more going more for the dance scene. Just like I go back to, people just want to be in the same vicinity as these idols, as their idols, as their people they look up
Live
to.
in the moment, as they put it.
Live in the moment in the same building as their, what I'm saying, look at the wrestlers. Paul 3, you go to the AEW events. You go there to be entertained. You go there to see someone you watched on TV for years, like a Sting or something like that. Maybe a little bit of both of that. But Dr. Dave Rose, Dr. Brown, I need y'all to understand that AC/DC is really old, man, and this will be the last deal. And Sammy Hagar's tour in Vegas will be, as he's going to be doing residency, no more touring.
But that's the thing though, Wire, nobody can ever take it away from you. And that's why I also stand against this when it comes to Paul's criticism, is the fact that you can say right now that you got to see AC/DC live. Doesn't matter in what state they're in, you got to see AC/DC live. I've never had that opportunity.
Neither have I.
Would have been great.
Look, another 10 years, that's why all these bands, I want to see the old ones, because we're not going to have them in 10 years. And then in 10 years, I'll figure out if I want to listen to new
really,
stuff or not.
the reality is you're just going because you got discounted tickets. Because if you went to go see them in the heyday, you'd be paying some good money for that. But regardless, it's just like, okay, fine. Like, okay, they don't sound as great as they did in the past, but you can claim that you got something scratched off your fucking list of things to do. Because again, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to see Metallica live. That's something I would have loved to be able to accomplish and scratch off my list. But again, you've been able to see all these bands, including AC/DC. So
you got to stack them up, bro. You got to see the Green Days. You got to see the Green Days.
No, you're a traitor for that. Going to see Green Day, you surrounded by a bunch of leftists on that show, man. Well, I can't even imagine the smell.
It was overwhelming. No, it was like rainbow lesbian stuff. It really was.
Of course,
crazy.
yeah.
Like
with all these young kids with the septic piercings included.
A lot of young homosexual people, for real. It's crazy.
For real.
I never seen anything like seriously. It was like a lot of young gay couples, man.
Of course.
But you did have Smashing Pumpkins opening, so
that's pretty cool.
Pumpkins are really good live.
Yeah,
Pumpkins.
Man. Well,
Paul 3, do you have
I would
Doctor interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would prefer Smashing Pumpkins over Green Day anytime because
yeah, I don't even know why fucking Pumpkins opened up for them. They should have been leading that show.
Plus, because Billy Corgan is also the president of the NWA, National Wrestling Alliance, and 2, they had that female guitarist with them, Kiki Wan, who's hot as hell, and a badass shredder.
Indeed.
Dave, you loved that American Idiot album 20 years ago.
No, I don't.
Come on, bro. That was a good album.
Green Day.
What?
They're fucking leftist fucks and deserve.
I know they are.
Dude, my boomer dad fucking loves American Idiot, and like I shit on him all the time for it, bro. It's the gayest album of all time.
Oh my god! Wow.
My only problem with Green Day is the simple fact that it's more pop punk than it is actual punk. Whereas we had Black Flag,
their own. It is their own sound.
And the fact that they try to push that as well was, I think, an insult. Also, Billy Joe, you're not British. Why do you try to sound like that in your early albums? Come on.
Yeah. I guess it was a thing back in the day.
All right, so I have to bring. Are we? How much time do we have for the show, Brown?
I don't know how much time you cats have, because I know Dave has some dinner was still waiting for him.
Yeah, I've delayed that.
I know.
I got my ribs.
Well, there is one more news piece, and it's really big, and it's pretty controversial. I'm not too comfortable with bringing it up, but it is. There's almost like when I was matching the 2 songs together and bringing that up, like.
Yeah.
So the Ozzy thing's coming up.
Yes.
Tom Morello. Tom Morello is the musical director. He's the MD.
Yes.
Sharon Osbourne is Ozzy's wife.
Yes.
Like last week or a week or two ago, there's an Irish rap group or something called Kneecap. They were doing Coachella. I think it was at Coachella.
Mhm.
And they came out with a support for Palestine, Hamas, whatever.
Of course.
Sharon Osbourne came out and said, fuck that, really was against it, railed against it. Tom Morello came out and supported Kneecap and supported all that. So you have Tom Morello, the musical director for the big Black Sabbath Ozzy thing. And Ozzy's like, how is that dynamic, blah, 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 whatever. But that's pretty weird. But, Sharon Osbourne really is a bitch overall, but big ups to her for this. Okay.
Well,
Um,
Tom Morello and all the members of Rage Against the Machine are pure leftists without any
yeah.
question. In fact,
And big up Paul 3. Paul 3, big ups to Trump for cutting ties with Israel today. Netanyahu, he cut official communications from them. Look it up.
oh,
It's
wow.
real. Just throwing that in there, Paul 3.
All
Paul
right.
3 hates Jewish people, guys. He just,
No, he doesn't hate.
disgusting.
I don't believe he does. He just he doesn't appreciate the.
It's a troll, but it is a little offensive to me.
But here's the thing, Paul 3 said this, and I agree with him 120%. We need to focus on America first before anything else.
Well, listen, do you
Enough
support
said.
Kneecap the band with their freedom of speech supporting Hamas and Palestine? Do you
Well,
support freedom of speech for
but
supporting?
yet, though they have.
Wire
Well,
sounds like a BLM supporter.
oh well. Well, the only thing
No,
I
I
say
think
about.
there should be. I think there should be limits to speech. You shouldn't be you're not allowed to say you support terrorists. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel
but
like
then again, we cannot. They do have the freedom of speech, but we also have the freedom to not pay attention to them.
Yeah,
Enough said.
I think Sharon Osbourne's mom or dad is Jewish or something. There's some type of link to that.
Well, we know her
She
father is Don Arden, who used to manage Black Sabbath for a while.
he was definitely a Jewish person, right? You would say.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure. I never met the man, so I would not know. But still, I think we had enough with picking on Jewish people left and right, from the BLMs or the Nation of Islam or the Nazis. I'm like, come on, lay up the Jews, all right? Come on.
It is sickening. Gene Simmons, we love him.
Who is Jewish, by the
Paul,
way?
Yeah, but the Jews killed Christ, though. Why are you guys forgetting that? Are you guys fucking idiots? The Jews fucking killed Christ, and why are you ignoring that?
well, this Trump thing, Paul 3, look into that. That's real. They really cut communications from Israel. But back to the music.
Yes.
So do you believe that
guarantee-
Jesus Christ is wearing an excrement like all your fucking Israeli buddies?
I believe if Paul 3 and Dave Rose went to that ACDC show,
Do you
they would have a
believe
different. They would
that
have a
it's
different
okay
opinion.
for?
David the Wire
Do you believe that it's okay for rabbis to suck baby penis after they fucking circumcise it? Is that what you fucking believe? That's what you're saying by supporting it. What? That's the truth. That's what they do. They're fucking crazy. It's crazy
You
shit, bro.
support Jewish people. You just ran on a rant saying we need to stop hate on Jewish people. Paul 3 is a Jewish man, formerly of the faith. No, seriously. Dr. Brown, did you see the other set list from Sammy Hagar and compare it to the David Lee Roth set list?
No, I didn't really see the set list, but I do know one thing. Like most of the stuff that he's doing, of course, is from his era of Van Halen, without a doubt. I mean, the only two songs that he ever did with Van Halen during his time with Van Halen from the Roth era was, of course, Jump, Panama, and Ain't Talking About Love. That's about it from I remember. But it's mostly from his
Oh, so that's what I'm
with.
saying.
Go ahead.
Paul, are you still there? Paul, you think Tom Morello and Sharon Osbourne's gonna like fight at this Aussie thing over this Palestine deal?
Probably in the press.
fucking big of a deal? Why is everybody gonna fight? Yeah, it's
It is, but
embarrassing,
they're
bro. It's
working.
fucking embarrassing. Who gives a shit
It's
about any of it?
weird.
I want to see fucking David. I want to see David Lee Roth play Just a Gigolo. That's what I want to fucking see in his set list. Personally, do you guys have you ever heard? I know Earl's heard
Yes,
that one
I've
for
heard
sure.
of that
You
many
guys know about
times.
that song?
We all know. Who cannot forget the video
Yeah,
for
that.
that song?
Yes, that's a classic one, and people hated that fucking song like at first because they were like, "This is not fucking anything like Van Halen at all." They thought
Well,
it
it
was
was a
really fucking
covers
lame and
EP.
kind of corny.
Well, it was a covers
Yeah, but
EP.
they thought it was corny, bro. That's his biggest fucking hit. That's David Lee
What?
Roth as a solo artist. His biggest fucking hit.
Mm-hmm.
No, Yankee Rose.
Well,
No, Just a Gigolo.
Come on, Yankee Rose. Right, Dave Rose.
Just a Gigolo. And everybody
well,
knows.
if
I never
David
even
Lee
heard of
Roth,
that song, Paul.
well,
I
if
never
hold
heard of
on,
that
let me
What?
tribute
throw
song, to
this
be
in.
honest with you.
Let me
Yeah.
throw
What?
this.
Never heard of it.
For real.
I've heard it
Go
many
ahead,
times.
Rod.
It is a Louis Prima cover, and
I'm
and
so
if
sad and lonely. You never heard of that, bro? Where the fuck have you been? That's DLR's fucking claim to fame, bro, as a solo
and plus
artist.
the video for that song is a spoof of all the other acts that were on MTV at that time, including some metal acts, Billy Idol, Boy George, and such. It's a spoof video. And plus, my question is, if he were to play Just a Gigolo, he would probably have to seek permission from the estate of Louis Prima, who originally did that song ages ago. Remember, Van Halen, they covered Dancing in the Streets for Diver Down, but they were not permitted to perform it live, otherwise they would be sued. I remember hearing about that years ago. And if I remember, Ark Noe even brought that subject up on one of our earlier shows a couple years back, if I'm correct. You know. And Paul, where you at right now, dude?
Going
He's
to
at his
Guitar
home.
Center.
Oh, he's back at home. I know he stepped up.
Gonna go in the corner and get buy some scalp tickets at the show. Gonna sneak in there.
All right, there. So, do we have anything more left to add on this broadcast? Because I got to get me something in my stomach there, and plus I want to get things ready for tomorrow at work. And by the way, I'm not sure you've heard the good news. I got cleared for get better glasses and contact lenses as well. I did the appointment earlier today, did the exam, and a couple weeks or earlier, I'm going to get official better glasses with as well as contact lenses. Yay! In fact, I got a pair of contact lenses right now. That's temporarily for the time being.
Are they hard or soft?
Soft. All contact lenses are now soft and disposables.
Dang. Really?
Yep, exactly. So give me credit. I went through that whole deal with no
Well,
it was hard.
congratulations, man.
Thank you very much. Yeah. All right. Can't wait to try them out this weekend. Most definitely.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what the ACDC shirt is tonight for Pennsylvania. See if Paul 3 likes it or not.
All
Yeah,
right.
they do the custom shirt.
Right there. You know what I'm
But
thinking?
I do have to say the California Rose Bowl shirt is the coolest one. I do have to say
Rose Bowl.
that. Go ahead.
I haven't heard that name in a long time. I remember there was a Depeche Mode documentary called 101 where Depeche Mode played that big size of a venue.
They come out with this new bong called a Dave Rose Bowl from Canada, made in Canada.
Oh, God.
New bong. All right, Dr. Brother.
Okay, great show, guys. Thank you for participating once again, Dave. Shout out to you, Paul, and shout out to you, YR. Sometime we got to definitely debate more on the retiring situations sometime on the next program.
Right, let's
Most
do
definitely.
you want to do the Prog Rock show next week? Prog
Yes,
Rock, go down and
yes,
listen to the
yes,
end.
yes. Thank you for reminding me, folks. We got to definitely talk about that because in my early teens, before I got into heavy metal, I was big, big, big into that. And we also got to take the
We
time
really
to
got
acknowledge the
to
early Genesis.
give Dave some tips on prog metal. Let him experience some prog metal.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll
we
report back next week and let you know what I've learned of
all
prog
right,
metal.
all right there. All right, there. So this concludes our episode of Music Maniacs for this evening. All right. On behalf of myself, Paul 3, YR, Devious Dave Rose, we thank you for participating. We thank you for tuning in for this show tonight. We'll be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, here on my channel. And by the way, tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Eastern, I'll be live once again, streaming a new dark industrial techno set. And on this Saturday night at 9 p.m., I'll be premiering a brand new dark techno set just as well. So it's going to be a techno weekend for my channel here. In the meantime, subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and that notification bell. And everybody,